We are next to each other. See?
Of course we are.
That's not. I don't like this.
go.
I don't like this. I don't like this. Hey everyone.
Were you guys running late today?
I can't imagine why.
Oh my. All right. Hey everyone, welcome to the Turbine Podcast Season 2, Episode 51. That's right, we finally crossed the big 50 spot. On our live version here, hey, we already had some gifted memberships coming in like crazy. So shout out to Vanata712 who gifted 5 and Aaron Rass. Don't worry, you guys know I got your shots for that. And by the way, I apparently owe a shot for last week's podcast. So we're starting off tonight with 3 hardcore shots for me tonight. So we're gonna go straight to the Goldie and hit a couple of Yags on top. It's gonna be a fun and interesting night. I can already tell. That being said, well, whatever. It's not tequila. That's what you got to worry about.
Oh, I know.
We don't got that. Anyways, well, we have a panel here. We have a new guest, first time ever. We got Josie. Whoa, how's it going?
So good. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm so much better now that Jake has made it. I was very nervous.
Ask me in like a half hour.
Yeah, no.
You'll be feeling
nice to meet you, Josie. I think I was in the wrong room. I was here like 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
You got to stop with that keeping it clean forever thing. Come on now.
I like to keep it clean.
Yeah, okay.
I like to keep it clean.
Are you still like talking to that girl, the same one from last week?
Thanks, dude.
She watches, didn't
Place
she?
to do that.
Or is it a new chick?
To ask a question.
I don't know. Jake, I don't. If you have a new chick every week, that's your every day. I don't know what's going on.
You do realize that all of this is public record, right? Like people can.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm never telling you anything again ever.
Sounds good.
Tell
buddy.
me.
Okay.
Sounds
I will.
good.
I will only tell
See, that
you.
is why he's it's a call sign now when he's actually trying to keep it
Now
clean. Now I know what's
you
going
just
on.
told. All right.
The
that's
whole
fine.
chat, yeah, they know what's going on, dude. You let me show it publicly in my own chat, you dumbo. I asked your permission. They already know.
Oh yeah, you texted me.
yeah.
sorry.
See, you're giving me shit. I'm like, this is already public knowledge.
Yeah.
And I remember, did I not ask your permission before I did that?
No, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, legit. You were there in the chat when it happened. So
All right. I am really embarrassed. Can
You
we
forgot?
talk about video games?
It's okay. He's like, I should have been later. All right. We got, well, apparently we're both Nintendo Prime. I'll go fix that. What's up, Eric?
No, you know.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I don't know why it says you're Nintendo Prime. I thought I fixed it's reasons.
But you both are also sexy and you know it.
Apparently.
Sure.
Then we have Andres Restart. How's it going, bud?
I'm doing okay.
You're doing better than Jake right now.
Well, maybe. I'm
Well,
currently
let's go.
debating. I'm currently debating how much I should say or not say.
Oh boy.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. So the real question is, what have you been playing lately? Andres, we'll start with you.
Still playing Pikmin 4. I'm currently getting my ass kicked by the last nighttime level in the primordial. I forget what. I was literally playing it before we went live, but I'm getting close. I feel like I'm going to be done with Pikmin 4 in like a day or two. Totally 100%. I'm not showing off. It's just that's we were talking about it last week, and then I'll move on to maybe that Pokemon DLC / Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, I got Jake in trouble. I keep seeing him look down.
Yeah. No, it's cool. No, it's fun.
It's your own fault. Sorry, man. This is already public knowledge.
She's a big fan of the show.
She's a big fan. She's gonna become watch her start texting me later. Wants to know the real truth behind the scenes.
Oh God, no, she's cool. She wouldn't even do that.
Okay, I'll save it for later. I legitimately curious if it's the same one or not. I don't know.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I actually am curious, legit. I can tell.
It's so rare that you see me like caught off guard. You must. Be
I know, and I'm just like, what is he caught off guard for? We already had this publicly happen. It's
Hey,
confusing to me.
Hey Jake,
That's me know it's probably
here. Not with
someone
me.
new.
Not with me. Not on the show.
I like your chain. I just noticed
chain?
you always wear a chain. Is
Yeah.
that a new thing? Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I wear this. Sometimes I tuck this one in. Wear the other one. But
yeah, he hasn't tucked it.
I have the other one tucked in right now. But yeah.
He's a chain kind of
Jake
guy.
has a great smile. Thank you, Fox.
There you go. Hey, you know what? You already know it's starting. You have a great smile. You're going to be called sexy. Like it's already going.
Okay, cool.
Jake,
Thanks, guys.
games. So what have you been playing lately?
Me? Sorry, did you say me? I
Sorry.
thought you said me.
don't know
Also,
what
nice
we're
to
talking
meet you, Josie. Nice to meet you.
too. Nice to meet you
I
too.
know you from the Spawncast, like, and I think I've
Yeah,
interacted with you
I've
on
seen.
Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen you. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, nice to like.
You
Sorry
too.
for being rude.
So
It's okay.
you haven't played anything lately, is what you're saying?
Are you asking me? I'm sorry.
No, I was
Who
talking
are
to
you
Jake
asking?
originally.
Okay.
Oh, you were all right.
Yeah,
Josie
I was saying you want.
Josie's
you
a
want-
guest. She can go first.
Oh, okay.
Well, technically second. But that's okay.
I played. I'm playing Super Mario RPG right now, so I'm trying to get through that. I took like a little hiatus because I'm in school, so I just drove home for winter break. But now we're back onto it.
Perfect.
How far are you?
I'm chasing. Oh, is this? I don't think it's a spoiler. I'm chasing the lizard guy through the mines, and I just beat him.
Okay.
I think I'm like
Yeah.
halfway or so. I don't know. Not nowhere, but not super
You're
far.
definitely like smack dab in the middle. Maybe even like in
Yeah.
the second half a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. What we're talking about. So, Eric, what have you been playing lately?
I don't know. I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom still. On my way to, I'm at, oh gosh, what the heck is that?
Going on the way to the end?
No, I just,
Is it the beach?
no. I'm in that one sky island that was covered in clouds and
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Oh,
With the thunder getting the last stage.
Yeah. I know what one.
Getting the last stage, I could dragging something. Yeah.
Oh,
What
you're
is-
you're doing that. You do okay.
The last stage.
I know what it
think.
is. I know what it is. You're doing.
You want to know what I want to find in Tears of the Kingdom? There's this cave that's like all crystals. It's like apparently it's like a random cave. It's like not an important event to the game at all, but there's just a random cave in the game that just has a whole bunch of like giant crystals. And it looks really cool, and I have no idea where it is.
Nice. Also, Legendary Bastard wanted to let you know that he loves your videos, Andres.
Thank you, you legendary bastard. I appreciate it.
Love it. Jake, do you want to go now? We just
Yeah.
can't remember what
What was I playing this week?
You were playing me.
I think this is 2 weeks in a row, which I think this is the first time it's happened all year. 2 weeks in a row. I didn't play anything, but I did help a bunch of people get portals because there's a huge restock at Best Buy and Walmart, and the Walmart one lasted like 45 minutes, so a ton of people got them. I myself bought 2 more in addition to the one I have. One of them is for my friend to give to his 11-year-old son for Christmas, but I think I might give away the other one. So
have you unboxed yours yet?
Wait, where is it? Hey.
I know you have a lot of progress on what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
progress is once it's unboxed.
Oh, but that's a secret project. You're not supposed to talk about it publicly.
Yeah, it's gonna be a cool video when it comes out.
Yeah.
It might honestly.
He said he was making a video on it last week.
Be
but is it public knowledge
that he's making a video on it? Not what the video is.
Okay.
He's like all worried. I'm revealing all of Jake's secrets.
So
I think you should just close the chat, Jake.
I've never had him this flustered ever. This is great.
Games, but I played the real life game, which honestly, like the restock stuff, feels like a game to me sometimes. That's why I like to do it so much.
Sure.
It's fun. So I played the real life game of buying new consoles.
Nice.
All right. I think I know what's throwing Jake off. It's not my comments. It's the glasses. Sorry, man. We'll take them off. My bad.
It's the
My bad. You need to see the views.
What's your sweater, by the way? I love ugly sweaters.
Dude, ugly sweaters. The llama with sunglasses. That's why I was wearing the glasses in respect to the llama. That's all.
Oh, nice. I would show you mine, but it's not keeping it clean.
I don't care about keeping it clean here. You know that. That's why I never promised to keep it clean. That's why I never. So what have I been playing lately? Well, I've been playing with apparently Jake's emotions. By the way, whoever happens to be watching the show, Jake is actually a legitimately good dude. Like I'm not just talking about.
Well, I will say this: he has given me full permission to keep it filthy.
Whoa, wait a second.
You must be.
Wait,
That's not keeping it clean. Oh, I like to keep it clean.
Whoa. Are you that whipped already? You need permission?
No, I'm just saying. She's like, if you want to keep it filthy, by all means. So I'm just saying, I like to keep it clean.
But
maybe
she
I won't
likes
keep
you
it clean.
filthy. I get it. She likes you filthy. I see. So that's why you're keeping it clean, to save it all up for when you're around. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he is kind of a filthy bastard over there, but
Don't worry, Jake. I got the mop over here if you need to.
He's a tasteful filthy. Okay, this is going to get crazy in a moment. All right. Now that I know the reins have been taken off, what have I been playing lately? What have I been playing lately? It's been so busy this holiday season. I hardly ever get to play games during the holidays. Mario RPG. I've got 4 stars now. So it's still not done.
Wait, before you answer, Nate, because I want you to answer, so it buys me a little bit of time. I think I need to go grab a White Claw. I've never had a drink on your stream before.
You did it at the very beginning.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay. I'm gonna grab a White Claw. I'll be right back.
Oh, baby. She's really taking the leash off him.
Oh boy.
Just set up. Okay.
This is very fascinating right now. There's a lot going on. And Josie's over there like, I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy.
You guys get real personal on this one.
Oh yeah.
It's not quite so personal.
Just me and Jake get that personal. It gets pretty bad. Andres stuff we always keep it so private because he never gives permission to talk about it. But Jake, literally, we had a live stream about what happened on the podcast last week because we had a behind the scenes conversation. And someone asked something about why Jake was trying to keep it so clean on the last show. And I text Jake, hey, they're asking about this thing. Am I allowed to talk about it? And he says, oh, hell yeah, dude. Tell them all about it. So I did. And he's surprised it came up. He was there. He knows about it. Anyways, that being said,
I am
what have I been
drinking
playing
water, just for the record.
That's fine.
This is water.
Yeah, not pure vodka.
There's a running theory that I rarely actually drink water.
Vodka on the rocks.
That'd be crazy. Just a glass of that is wild.
Yeah. There are people that could do it. I'm not one of them. So what have I been playing lately? Yeah, just Super Mario RPG, 4 stars in. Eventually going to be done with it. It's not a super long game. I just lets you know how much time I've had to actually game this last week. A little bit of Madden. Hey, in my main Madden league, I am the number 2 seed.
Nice.
And I'm the Bills, and everyone's leaving me this offseason. So this is my one shot to win the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens. Man, I don't think I played anything else interesting. I'm still working my way through Spider-Man 2, but I literally only just turned it on. Oh, that's why I didn't play anything. Sorry. I was in the Skull and Bones closed beta over the weekend. Forgot about that. Yeah. I played like 6 hours. How did I forget about that? Oh, because I wasn't sure if I could talk about it, but they said you can. Yeah, dude, the Skull and Bones is actually really good. I'm very surprised. I thought it was going to be kind of boring, and it actually is a lot of fun. And I was playing it on PS5 if people want to know what version I was playing. So, yeah, it's really good. That's all I'm really gonna say. It's just really good. There's a ton of footage out there if you guys want to go watch the game in action. It's actually kind of cool. The game's actually just coming out. Like that's for a while. We kind of thought it might get canceled. So, all right.
That's by Ubisoft, right?
Yes. Yep.
Does it feel like Black Flag at all?
There's a very it's like a vertical slice of the game. So it kind of just drops you right in. So I don't really know how it starts, but there is a Black Flag feel to it a little bit. And then it kind of veers off because the ship battles get way bigger. At least the one that one of the main ones you're in is way bigger than any of the ones you saw in Black Flag. But yeah, it has a similar feel, but they definitely really expanded what you can do in comparison to Black Flag. But I mean, that's why they did it, because that part of Black Flag was so popular. Right. They thought they could do more. So I'm very curious once the reins are off, all the stuff we're going to be able to do. It's going to be nuts. Let's see here. We had a super chat here from Taker610 saying Andres just wanted to be a wholesome Nintendo YouTuber, like RGT85. But then he fell in love with the likes of Nate and Jake. His story at 10 happens.
I probably should have used my news announcer voice.
Anyways, thank you so much. By the way, if you guys don't know, I see people super chatting in. Yeah, I do shots for super chats over $20 and stuff. But here's the thing. We have a Q&A section that you guys can super chat into for $2 and just ask a question. That's towards the end of the show. So if you guys want to submit questions, we just hold on to them. So it's like, oh, I'm trying to ask a question and they're not answering. Just wait, we're going to answer it later. But speaking of a $20 super chat, Free Metroid Hat just wanted to come in here quick and go. For my birthday on the 22nd, I wanted Nate to tell Jake to get in a trash talk contest with Angry Joe. That would be great. Also, Nate, don't forget our bet. Oh, jeez.
He has it saved.
Is that the YouTube
He
channel?
does have it saved.
Is that the YouTube channel?
No, I
okay.
did not bet my YouTube channel. No.
Well, you did.
You
actually.
did.
You did.
No,
You
no,
bet
no.
on
I
something. I
offered a
remember
bet that no one took.
Yeah.
And that was on your channel. No one actually took the bet.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a completely separate bet.
wasn't the
What
bet
if I decide to
that
take
you
the bet?
would
Have it on record.
you would give
All
you
there.
bet your YouTube channel that the Switch
2 would come out
itself
next
come
year.
out in 2024.
Yeah.
You thought it was that guaranteed that you were willing to bet your
Yes.
whole channel on it.
But then no one took me up on the bet, so it didn't matter. It's just a bet with myself, I guess.
There you go.
Who would I give my YouTube channel? Myself?
Yourself.
I don't know.
Me.
Maybe Josie wants it. You want
like
the channel,
mine.
right? Oh, okay.
It's okay.
You said you're good.
I'm all good.
You're like,
He's
no,
good.
I'm not really
Oh,
interested. You couldn't-
chat.
you couldn't offer
She's
that.
already saying she's not a fan of you guys. I'm sorry. My bad. Didn't realize we were bringing in a cynic. It's okay.
I like it. I just like my brand.
Yeah.
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 Pink
No,
and
no.
black,
Yeah. It's
man.
your own brand. You can't.
Wait,
you can't be
um,
coming on doing shots and.
Josie,
Crazy
someone in
stuff.
the chat said earlier, so I know it's not just me. Can you turn up your volume a little bit on your mic?
Yeah, I can. Is
Okay.
that better?
Sure.
Say like a sentence.
Hello, my name is Josie Woe. I make videos on YouTube.
When do you think
Whoa.
Switch 2 is coming out?
Touch more, and then
Okay, it's just like the gain, so I'm worried it's gonna.
Also, Jake
Flip.
is the one that doesn't wear
Yeah,
headphones.
that's better. Thank you, Josie. Sorry.
Just to note, he's like the only one who doesn't put headphones on. So like,
Mhm.
Okay, that is also true.
You listen to it out loud.
Yeah.
Does it-
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Does
And
it
if
get
he,
caught
screws,
in
if
your
he
mic?
screws up his audio a bit,
Oh,
it
I
starts
have
to
my
echo
mic
really
like
bad.
right here, which you can't really see it, but it's right next to me, but it's facing away from a speaker.
There's
and
no
I-
looping, thankfully.
that's why. It's because I keep the speaker so low
Mm.
that it doesn't interfere.
So
But
everyone's.
I
gonna
honestly
crank their
think you
volume.
should probably lower the gain a little bit because I can hear.
Right, I feel like it's clipping
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that better?
you're audible.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Oh no, Jake! You might have to put headphones on at some point in your life.
Dude, I don't even know if I have.
No.
I've never used headphones.
Don't mess with his hair. You can't do that.
Well,
I
maybe
don't
if you
know.
don't,
I
maybe.
genuinely- the only ones I have, dude, are these ones right here, and then the left one's broken. Oh.
Nice.
All right, I know what to get Jake for Christmas.
So,
then. We're good.
um,
We're good.
Josie, if you need to adjust your audio level, if you go to settings, you
Uh-huh.
click on settings, then click on the audio tab. There
Uh-huh.
should be something at the bottom that says automatically adjust mic volume.
Yeah.
Mine's on is checked, but if you want to play with it, you can uncheck it and
Oh,
scroll
okay,
with
that's a good
that. That
idea.
might, yeah.
Is that better?
I don't know.
mean,
I don't think
you sound fine to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say
I could just turn it on for you myself. Oh, did it just mute her?
no.
Oh, you just.
No, actually,
there.
that actually worked out really well.
I cleared all your background noise
Yeah.
out.
Sweet.
Oh,
that's
look at
way better. Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, don't worry. Uncle Prime over here has got it taken care
All right,
of.
guys.
We're
This
good.
isn't very professional of me. I don't
Nice.
represent the
All right,
Spawn
chat needs
cast.
to stop bullying me
Yeah,
about
yeah. You
everything
are the
today.
representative of the Spawncast. We haven't had one since October. You're not repping. it
Well,
right.
you know, I don't really rep it actually because that was pretty unprofessional. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh god.
Fine.
She's like, look, she's a
Fine.
10,000 subscriber
Yeah.
YouTube channel. That's not a proper rep of the actual show.
Yeah.
Let's calm down, everybody.
Yeah. No.
Let's calm down.
Exactly.
I mean, you do know you were like the misclick replacement, right?
Everybody, but now we're on the same podcast together. So
Yeah, I know. I know. Yep. Yeah,
they had
misclick's
to
coming
fill
on.
the woman role, I guess. But
Yeah.
now we're both there.
Hey,
so.
hey, misclick's coming on our show next month. So it's all
really?
good.
Cool,
Yeah. Oh,
Josh.
yep. Oh yeah, she's coming on our show before, and she had all her real life stuff going on for a while. So,
Heaven forbid she has a baby.
yeah, heaven.
Right.
I've had 3. I mean, well, I guess I didn't have them.
Yeah, you haven't had any.
You
All
haven't
right.
had the pain of I can't imagine.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine either. To be honest, I
I
had to
just have a
witness. I had to
cat.
witness the pain, and I'm like, how
Lord.
I wonder how women don't die. That's all. Like, it,
All right,
Wow, thank you. This is really getting great for me as a young
No.
woman.
what? Childbirth is insane. It's insane. I have to watch it.
I'm enjoying just watching Nate like go deeper and deeper.
I know.
Dude,
Yeah, can
I'll
we
keep
just
dig-
move
I'll
on?
dig my grave.
Put the shovel down.
Can we move on?
No,
Like
I like to dig my grave.
the topics.
But my grave is so not deep enough yet.
I'm fine with this as long as the focus is off me.
I
Honestly,
can
sorry.
bring in the
Josie, but-
backhoe if you really want me to.
To go on record, I adore Miss Click, and I think we just
Yeah,
kind
she's
of
awesome.
coexist together now, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, that's all. No,
Yeah.
this looks great. She's. I have nothing bad to say about her. She's been nothing but awesome and friendly to me the entire time I've been a YouTuber.
She's a really genuinely nice person.
Yep,
is.
and she'll talk shit to me and put me in my place. It's good. I like it.
Oh really? Yeah.
You know,
You are.
she did
Like
that.
a true queen.
Yeah, oh yeah, she did last time. She had no problem putting me in my place. It was sweet. And it reminds me of like the
Oh, we
first
should have
time I
around
had
more. I like that.
when I had you on, Jake, and like I totally messed up the ending of Ocarina of Time. Remember that? I remember
God.
getting put in my place
Yeah.
pretty hard.
Yeah, it was like one of the first times.
Like
yeah.
the very first show you're on. Just
Yeah.
wreck me. Just wreck me on my own show. It's cool. I was wrong, by the way. I deserved it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never
It was
let that
good.
one down. Being wrong about the ending of a Zelda game really makes me mad at myself.
Especially
Didn't we
that
have
one.
a similar dispute once?
Yes, it is a disappointing moment in my life. Okay. You know what I'm chalking it up to? Because I'm getting old, man.
Yeah.
See now.
Dude, I'm getting old. I'm
Thank you.
losing it. I'm losing it. I don't know. Look,
Hey, I'm younger than
something
you.
about-
And I've started recently. I'm starting to get grays. Like it's happening.
I don't have any grays up here, just down here, but still.
Mm,
Oh man.
Well, maybe you just don't have good enough eyes to see the grays. All right. Let's move on to the topics,
All right. Are you sure?
please.
Yeah.
Please.
Maybe you're saying that because I put your name on the next topic as like maybe doing something or saying something about it because I didn't want to make notes.
Really? I
I
haven't
actually
read it.
second his motion to move on to the topics.
There we go.
Yeah, she's never coming back on again. We just got that confirmation. All right. So topic
And not
one.
because we won't ask her back on.
I really hope
I'll-
I did my
I'll
research
ask.
on this because I didn't read your
There
podcast
might
notes.
be blocked after this show. So if it hasn't already happened.
Just a
All
giant
right,
middle
what if-
finger emoji and blocked. Done.
What am I
All right,
talking
so-
about?
Yep.
All right, so
What are we
I
talking
will introduce it. I think I said your name. Yeah, I did. Andres Russo can probably recap a lot if he chooses. That's what I wrote literally in the notes. So it's a choice, but let me introduce it. So look, we have a couple Zelda topics today, guys. The first one is basically let's just stop smacking this around. It keeps coming up. Is there going to be a big Zelda remake happening and dropping sometime in the next 2 years? And there's a ton of rumors and a ton of other stuff. And that's where I said if Andres Restart wants to recap any of that, it's up to him.
I'd love to.
Because I know most of you, I mean,
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
Andre's good at that. I'm down for that.
No, he knows all about the rumors. He's got a lot of it right off the top of his head.
Yeah. I'm already getting upset.
Why? This wasn't supposed to be an upsetting
Can,
topic.
can I go? Can I
Yeah.
go?
Yeah, man.
All right. So it's not that there aren't rumors. I just don't like how people are just calling it a rumor. Because I've seen channels cover this. I've seen people write articles on this stuff. I'm not pointing fingers. You've covered pretty much all the details, so I have less reason to point fingers at you than others. I'm not pointing fingers.
Oh, you mean I give all
just
the
think-
context?
I
do
just
give a
think
lot of
as a
context.
collective, some things are being misconstrued because I bet like you take one random person that doesn't necessarily like do all the research. They just think, oh yeah, there's a random rumor from Zippo. Like that's not why we're talking about this.
Oh no,
Right, the-
no, that's like the
right.
most least important thing.
But like,
Yeah.
so the reason why we're talking about Ocarina of Time remake is it's not just because there are rumors, right? It's because you look at the history of how Nintendo ends their generations when they end their generation with a Zelda game and they don't have like a new Zelda to be a cross-gen title. What happens is within that first year and a half, we see some type of repurposed 3D Zelda game. So there's a history of that. This has happened multiple times. So that alone, right? Like you just ignore anything else, like just that history, right? Like Nintendo's going to probably put some type of Zelda game early on for their next system. Like, can you reasonably think that they would wait 5 to 6 years without some sort of significant hardcore Zelda entry? Like that just doesn't. That's not how they've done it in the past, right? But then you also factor that on top of the trademark we had a couple of years back, the Game Over Jesse videos ago a couple of years back, right, where there was some rumor stuff. But then more recently, we had the Nintendo Dream magazine, where Onuma was talking about how it's interesting. I'm paraphrasing, but it's something to the effect of how he doesn't think anyone really knows the character of Rauru anymore outside of Tears of the Kingdom, which is hard. That's Ocarina of Time. Yes, there's Rauru Town, but if you look at the interview, it's talking about the character, which means literally Rauru from Ocarina of Time. So it's interesting that he talks about an interview, and then in another interview, which is even more recent with Game Informer, we have the situation where what is it? Literally, they ask him, "Hey, so is there an Ocarina of Time remake happening?" And he just responds, "No comment." And so that doesn't necessarily confirm anything, but he could have denied it, as Nintendo has done in the past, and he didn't.
Yeah.
He chose not to. In this time where everyone's talking about Ocarina of Time for the 25th anniversary, there's a lot of stuff
Can I
going
add
on.
something, Andres?
Go for it.
You guys, I think, all talked about this, but recently Nintendo was asked about like a Zelda Maker, and they outright said that wouldn't work. We're probably not going to do that. So it's interesting that like they were asked about those two things pretty close together, and they
Then they
wouldn't
denied
give-
one thing.
Yeah, they flat out denied one of them and didn't with the other. That's
other
a very
one's like-
Nintendo. That's a Nintendo tell. You know what I mean?
No comment. What?
Exactly. But continue.
The other
on.
one
I
you
just wanted
said
to
no,
point
this
that
one
out.
But
you're just like,
I
"Yeah."
think that's a fantastic point. You know, it's actually something I haven't brought up in my videos. Like it's a recent example where they have
Feel free
denied
to use it.
something. And yeah, no, it's a fantastic point. So you have Anuma being asked about this. You have this history. You have this potential tease. Also, Anuma has teased future Zelda
I
products in the
love
past,
potential teases.
right? Like literally, he said
a
Skyward
tip.
Sword HD on Switch, right? It had Zelda concert back in 2018, and we talked about it. People were like, "Oh no, that's bogus." Nintendo denied it, and what happened 3 years later? Skyward Sword HD. So it may not come to next year, right? Like, so maybe we talk about Ocarina of Time remake 3 years from now when it's actually announced, but in terms of like just like what's actually being said by the producer of Zelda and the history of Nintendo, there's reason to think that something Ocarina of Time could be happening. But this kind of situation gets more interesting because there was the Zippo rumor, and then there was the rumor from Sir Toto, who has a clean track record of teasing Zelda stuff. Of course, we have to kind of decipher what that is. And I think now the Game Awards have come and gone. It definitely wasn't any sort of Zelda remaster, but it was for the Zelda movie reveal. That feels pretty safe to say at this stage.
Zelda reveal 2023.
Right. Yeah, it was for the movie.
Yeah.
But now we have this new thing from Nash Weedle, who seems to have a pretty strong track record, where he put out a cryptic kind of tweet that was very much in the exact same form factor of the Circon Toto tweets. And what was it? It was CZR 2024. And so now we're all like, okay, what does that mean? I mean that's a whole guessing game, right? Does it mean classic Zelda remake? Does it mean classic Zelda reveal?
Dude,
Does it
the
mean
timing of
collection,
you saying
Capcom?
that and that
And
super
then,
chat
yeah,
is
this
great,
super
right?
chat was just literally
like the
like
second
think at the
before it
same
came out of your
time.
mouth.
Boo Mini and I were on that segment.
Yeah. Boo Mini
connection.
wanted to say, what do
Yeah.
we think that C stands for? There's a lot of things it can stand for.
Yeah. And so that's kind of like a basic summary, I would say. We could go on for hours just talking about all the context, but I think that's good enough.
So
Yeah.
the big thing is, are we going to get, and I like emphasize this a bit because look, they do a lot of remasters, right? Like it's almost a given that we're going to get Zelda remasters, but I want to focus on a remake.
Well, we're done remastering. We're done. They
I mean,
remastered all the classic 3D Zeldas.
See, that depends, because if they just HD Ocarina of Time 3D, that's just a remaster.
Yeah. I just don't think they're gonna remaster a remaster. Does Sony even do that? Like they remastered.
Yes.
No, they did a remaster and then they did a remake, right? Isn't that what happened? It wasn't.
The
it was a
Last of Us
remaster,
has
then
been remastered like 6 times.
I was gonna be like, Sony definitely does this. This is not.
I want
Yeah.
to see all the different iterations of The Last of Us.
Sure.
Wish there was just like a page that just told me all the.
Well, there
versions.
probably
Well,
is.
you mean for the
Oh wait,
first
hold
one?
on, hold on.
There's 3, right?
Because there's a PS4 version.
Yeah, PS3 was the first one, was the original,
And they had
and they remastered it for PS4,
Right.
and then they remade it, even though it was really like a remaster for PS5.
Yeah, the lighting's just a little different.
yeah. The animations are
Did
all
they
the
call
same.
that-
Everything's
didn't
like
they
the
call
same.
it a remake?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they call it? Did they officially call it The Last of Us remake? Because it is not.
I remember
Wow.
seeing on the box art like The Last of Us Part 1, and I don't think it said
might not say
remake, but I
anything,
think they
yeah.
called it
So
one. I
I'm
do
looking
think
at
they
the
called it one.
timeline here. Maybe this is wrong. So if I'm wrong, just correct me, right? But I'm looking at the timeline. So 2013 was The Last of Us. 2014, The Last of Us Left Behind. Is that like an expansion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a Last of Us fan, just for the record. And then they also had The Last of Us remastered in 2014. Then in 2020, The Last of Us Part 2. Then 2022, The Last of Us Part 1.
Wait, Andres, have you played it?
No. The Last
Dude,
of Us
it's so
Part 2
good.
remastered.
It is very good.
What happens when you're a hardcore Nintendo fan? You ignore a lot of other good games.
No, but
Man.
Yeah.
No.
I
But
think
anyway,
it's
so
your-
I
it's
think
your
it
cup of
gets.
tea, man. I think you'd like it.
But it looks like they made the game, then they remastered the game, then they put out a remake, which is where that's where they call them
Yes.
the parts. Where
That
at least
is-
for part 1.
That is correct. And on paper, that sounds reasonable, but really, they just kind of re-released it for PS4 and then remastered the PS4 version, which didn't
and
barely
called
did
it a
anything.
remake.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know if Nintendo would do that. It doesn't like. First off, Ocarina of Time came out back in 2011.
I'm gonna
It's
ask
gonna be
you this.
13 years.
I'm gonna ask you
starting
this
next year.
once, and this is in the same train of thought. So you do not think they'll take the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD and 4K them?
Yeah, and that's I've kind of
that's what
talked
that
about
is.
this a little bit.
Yeah.
It is
That's a remastered or remastered.
unless it's like a straight port collection kind of thing. Like if it's
Okay.
a collection, I think that's kind of like the exception to the rule, where it's 2 games in one, which
Yeah.
which has been part of the speculation, right? But otherwise, I just don't see Nintendo remastering and already since it's been remastered. A remake, though, I think makes sense. Also, it's been such a long time since then.
Yeah,
It's-
it has.
Ocarina of Time originally came out in 98, right? 13 years later, they came out with 3D. In 2024, it will already be another 13 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we're being real, there's also a fantastic chance that if this is happening, it's not coming out next year. It would be a 2025 or later kind of thing. So there's already going to be arguably a longer gap between whenever this would come hypothetically and the 3DS version versus the original.
Sure.
Yeah, and the game is so dated. Like I feel like it just needs some updates. There's some
Thank
like
you.
very crucial quality of life things
get
that they
bl-
need to do.
I get
to-
blasted
Design
every
structure.
time I say that.
I get
every time
blasted
it's-
too, and everyone's
Aren't
like, "You're
you-
just a young dumb girl. You don't
you
understand."
a
But
big,
You're
it's
talking about the
original-
3D.
Whoa,
Right?
whoa,
We're not even
whoa!
talking
She
about
ain't
the
no young
original.
dumb girl. Maybe she's young. I don't know your age. I don't have to know. She ain't dumb. I watch her content all the time. Which you
Yeah.
know what? Sorry to interrupt. This just reminds me for a moment, a brief thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
How was I not nominated for Nintendo Content Creator of the Year? What is up with this?
oh, you want? I didn't know. I didn't know if I could
Well,
get you to send me
was
a
up with it?
video.
Now, RGT
How
thought he won
was
a
RGT
thought he won
not
a
nominated for
award.
Nintendo Creator?
He
of the
was.
won
He
a
Year?
won it.
award.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
RGT
All
won
right,
it, and he was
I didn't
accepting
know
it like
this
he just
joke.
won.
All right, I
won-
didn't know this was an actual thing. That's awesome.
Yes, he like he just won the Golden Award. That's what he acted like.
What
but
does the
Henry-
B stand for?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
He sent me the
Give me
craziest
a few more
acceptance
shots, and I'll
speech
stop.
video. It
I'll
was really
stop.
crazy.
Yeah. No, it's,
Wait, what'd
it's
you say,
okay.
Joseph?
I was just yanking your chain. It's all
No,
good.
I think it was a good choice.
For him to
Wait,
win.
did you say something
Yeah.
about the award? Or
I just think the thing he sent me, the acceptance speech, was really
Was-
funny, and
It was
not
great. Yeah.
it was not
Oh.
an acceptance speech for what the award. I don't know. You should
Yeah.
watch
Oh.
it.
He made a
okay.
huge joke out of it. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
making a joke on
I
the joke that
enjoyed that.
RGT was making. Yeah.
wait, is
That
that
was
like
fun.
publicly available? His acceptance?
It's on my
speech?
channel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
She
just
because
watch-
she said
watch
because
her
watch
Game
it.
of
It
the
says
Year
so the
awards.
Game
Guys,
Awards
subscribe
sucks,
to
but we had
Josie.
our own or whatever.
It's the
so-
content.
Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go watch it,
Okay.
dude. It's hilarious, and yes, you'll get the RGT skit in there. You guys know, come on. He was on our show. He was doing the Hulk Hogan skit
He
on our
was.
thing. Like RGT likes to have a good time,
Wait,
and he's
Nate,
not a
Nate,
Nintendo YouTuber.
I don't. This is probably not on the docket, but I think this has been important for your channel. And can I just keep it real about RGT for like a second?
Yeah. Whoa.
About just like Gerard and stuff.
Whoa.
Can we please
Whoa.
talk about time?
No, time out. It's fine. I talked about it on my channel. Go for it. He wants to make a statement. So let's go.
So all I'm gonna say is that like the completionist like charity fraud thing, like I was pissed off right away from knowing that he had held on to the donations for 10 years. this is all out there. If you're not up to date, you can Google the completionist or type it in on YouTube, and you'll watch a video, and you'll be up to date. But
A billion of
basically,
them. Yeah.
just that alone, the fact that he knew that donations were sitting in an account and didn't do anything for 2 years. The reason that triggered me so much is because the drug that saved my life, that's almost like a cure, like a pseudo cure for cystic fibrosis, that was funded by a foundation, not unlike Gerard's, that took in donations and allocated it to different pharmaceutical companies doing research for a new drug. So because of that foundation, it saved my life. But if they would have let their donations sit for even 5 years, that drug might have never come out. Or when it did, because it really kind of came out in the nick of time for me, I might not be here, and a lot of other people might not be here. So the problem with the money sitting in the account, even if everything else was fine, which even more and more stuff has come out and it's not good, but just with that knowledge, that could have potentially helped people that maybe passed away. And it could have at least given money that was assistance to actual families going through stuff to pay medical bills or whatever, even if it didn't come up with a cure, which for dementia most likely probably wouldn't have. But you don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know.
And so, anyways,
Timing does matter. I think that's a really good point.
I don't like to thank you, Andres, but I don't like to get involved in drama. But to me, that wasn't drama. That like hit home, so I actually said something about it, and I think most people, even from the get-go, agreed with Carl and Mudahar about what was going on. But a lot of people within the YouTube sphere jumped to defend the completionist. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to like want like the big channels like to respect me or whatever, but I just had to say something. So a lot of them follow me, right? And a lot of them were getting mad at me, like attacking me. And I didn't say anything rude to them back because I knew they were talking about their friend. They weren't the ones that did it. So I just like kept my mouth shut. But I was like, it's like you're not listening to what I'm saying. And I really didn't do it. But a few people didn't. And one person was RGT85, Sean. He liked a bunch of my things. He retweeted some of my stuff. And we talked about it in DMs. And he's someone that doesn't care what people think. And he can come off as like kind of crass, maybe like not like kind of like the opposite of Gerard, like not like the super nice guy, but like sometimes people like that actually have a heart of gold, and he would like get so mad if I said that, but like he's a good guy. That's all I want to say, man. And I really appreciated him. And Nate, you know this, I left a comment on your video, but I really appreciated your video too. You guys both made videos talking about me, so
you were one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it. I saw the online shit happen, and I was like, man, I like hadn't talked to you about how you felt about some of those people saying those things. I figured if you didn't bring it up, I didn't want to go there. But I knew what you said publicly, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, this literally when this went down, you were the first person I thought about. I was like, no, I know that your life was saved because of something similar to this. This is not
thanks, man.
Like this isn't cool. So,
and honestly, with the apology video, before I even got to the end, I like made notes of everyone he apologized to, and like I would never be in that situation, but let's say I was, the first thing I would do is I'd be like, I'm so sorry to any patients or their families. Like that's the first person I'd want to apologize. And that's the only one he left out. He went out of his way to at one point apologize directly to sponsors. And but geez, never God. And that's what
dude, it wasn't and like his apology.
I'll get off of it. All right.
The apology besides the sponsors wasn't much of an apology. It was a lot of if you felt wronged. What?
Yeah, well, he did say I'm sorry
for my part in it.
He apologized to a lot of different groups of people, and it wasn't like if you felt wrong, but he did later. Yeah.
It was a very weird response. Anyways, the point is, it was a really bad situation. Nobody wins, and a lot of people get sucked up in it because the completionist was friends with a ton of really big YouTubers. And you're seeing even today, you're seeing beat 'em ups and Bob Wolf go out there and recant their prior statements and make it known that they're not cool with what went down. And I'm sure we'll see more and more of that from other YouTubers as they start to maybe distance themselves, realizing that at this point, it goes too deep for anyone to think there's nothing wrong happened.
I will say a couple people did send me some really sincere like apology DMs, and I'm not going to name who they
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
but
no, yeah.
it was really nice, so I appreciated that a lot.
This is just a situation none of us expected or wanted to deal with. But also, I give credit to the two original YouTubers who brought attention, because if they didn't, the money might still be sitting there, and nothing would have happened. So it's better the money's actually at least went somewhere. So hopefully, it being given now helps people out years down the road. We'll see. So back to Zelda. How did I? I knew it.
No, I think it was. I
was trying to make a joke about RGT. It's okay though. RGT's a good dude. He won an award. Congrats.
Oh, my stupid little thing. Yeah, that's how we got started. This.
Yes.
Oh, you won an award?
No, she was the one.
Well,
handing out
actually,
the
I did win
awards.
the Zoomer Award of the Spawncast Award, so I was
The
pretty proud of that.
Zoomer Award of the
It's
podcast?
impressive. Yeah.
The
Let's
Zoomer
go.
award.
Wait, did Sean?
Did you win a black? Did you win a Black
not
Keely
Sean.
award?
Yeah, I did. That was the
No,
Zoomer
that was the
Award.
one. That was the one. Yeah, the Spawncast Awards.
Did John's Game of the Year thing finish?
I don't think so.
No, it's still going.
It's still
going.
going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's still going. Not to be confused with mine. Mine's only about Nintendo Switch games. Relax.
That's
People think I
good.
was
'Cause
copying them.
Obviously, if you put it
Andres
against
even
other
knows. I
stuff on
talked to
your
him behind the
channel,
scenes.
people
Like,
would
I
vote
can't
for
believe he
Nintendo.
just
That
announced
makes
this.
sense.
I was already planning this thing. And I was like,
Yeah. That is
Happens.
true.
yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean, this is over a month ago. It's all right. I'm glad he's
How
doing
much
it, because I
drama?
wasn't going to include all the consoles in it. So, all right. So getting back to the Zelda stuff, do you guys think like we're going to get like a big remake, even just announced the next couple of years? Because
So I want to pose a question to you guys.
Yeah.
Like on this, like you do you think Nintendo would take Ocarina of Time 3D and just kind of cheap it out, like a very basic upscale?
No way. No way.
I don't think so.
Like Nintendo's already kind of shown that they're willing to do more ambitious things now. You look at
Even-
Metroid Prime Remastered, Xenoblade
Yes,
Chronicles
that's what I was going
Edition.
to say. Even that
1,000-year
basic
door remake.
upscale was amazing. Like
they
that
also
Metroid
treated it
Prime.
different. I want to note this, because I pay a lot of attention to this, because people seem to always get mad about it. Nintendo doesn't celebrate the major anniversaries of all the Zelda games, but they did put out tweets about the 25th anniversary of Ocarina of Time, which means that they think it's different than other Zelda game anniversaries.
It is, and for them to recognize it, it's just like another like little crumb, right?
Like they're
we
thinking
have
about it. Like
them
the
not
whole of
flat out
Nintendo is
denying
aware
it,
of the importance.
and they have them mentioning it. So it's like everything is definitely leaning towards. I think it's coming.
yeah.
I think they know how much they need to respect that source material, because it's so many people's like favorite game of all time. It's regarded by everyone as like one of the best games ever. So I think that if they were to literally just kind of port the 3DS one, it'd be such a disservice. And like when you bring that to new audiences and like people like my age or something who didn't grow up with it, and that's what they play after hearing all these amazing things about it, it's going to be disappointing because it is dated. And so if they were to like bring it to modern audiences, I think they need to do a remake.
So
Yeah, and the other thing is like you take a game like Super Mario RPG that's just kind of been like forgotten for so long, and now all of a sudden, yeah, you can just port it and just upscale a little bit. But like if you did that with Ocarina of Time, like people would be upset, especially because it's on NSO
Right.
for the N64 version.
Yeah.
Which
there
is
would be,
already a
like, no
1080p
point.
upscale.
That's another
Yeah.
thing that makes it make no sense to just do it like that.
Also, so to you guys' point, like my fiance, she became a Zelda fan because of Breath of the Wild. I've just casually shown her Ocarina of Time, and she's like, this feels really bad. I'm like,
That
I
hurts
don't-
to hear.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
but I mean, look, she's not
I-
wrong.
I
For modern
understand
gaming
it. I
standards, yeah.
understand it, but it just
Like if
hurts
you
to
got
hear.
into Zelda with modern
I agree,
standards,
Andre.
it doesn't quite feel right. Like the controls are clunky. There's
Yeah.
the distinct lack of freedom, which by the way, that is like Zelda games had that lack of freedom. Ocarina of Time, ironically, was actually a bit more free than some other Zelda games that are on that time. But
That's another reason to bring it back, I think, though, because like I think of all the 3D Zeldas, Ocarina of Time it made vibe the most with like
Current.
modern Zelda fans
Mhm.
because
and honestly,
it
if they
does
make
have more
mi-
openness to it.
They can make minor tweaks, and it's gonna feel like an open world game again.
Would it be a
You just gotta do the dungeons out of order without having to like glitch through walls and stuff.
would it be a
I
nice
want
stepping
more. I want
stone?
them to actually add something. I want them to add more open world exploration
Light temple
in
dungeon.
between the dungeons and
More
like
stuff in Hyrule Field would be nice.
a bigger like Kakariko Village, a bigger Hyrule Castle
Sure.
town.
We talked about this before.
You know what I mean?
But
That
that
would be so
northeastern
cool.
part of
Like
the map that's just
explore the
empty.
Hyrule Castle town and actually have like places you can go in and out of, not just like
What if we go
like,
inside the castle?
a
as
few
a kid?
different.
Oh. Yeah,
Like,
not just
when
not
I
just
was a
like
kid,
the-
I
yeah.
always wanted to find a way to get into the castle. Like I literally tried to clip myself into the castle because there are rooms you can see through the windows. And
Mhm.
so as a 10-year-old, you're like, oh, like what's there? So it would be cool if they actually let us explore it in Ocarina of Time. Like
That would be cool.
Yeah. There's so much they could do. And
A
they
lot.
don't have to remake the game in the Breath of the Wild engine. Right? Like I feel like that's maybe asking too much, right? Because if we're getting this is meant to kind of be a stopgap, right? Like they're the Zelda team's focusing on the next.
Yeah,
one
I don't
Zelda
think the
game.
Zelda team's making that.
I mean,
by the way, they'd
that's-
hire someone else.
That's kind of
They might oversee it a little bit, but
Yeah.
What'd you
My
say, Eric?
question for you guys: do you think this would, because it's a little bit more open than the other older Zelda games? Do you think this would be a good stepping stone back towards a more linear, non-open world Zelda?
Won't
I don't think
happen.
we're ever getting that again.
Yeah, they literally just came out in an interview and straight up said they're not
Alright.
going back.
I
Yeah,
mean-
I know you don't keep up on everything, but yeah, Aonuma literally is like, why would we go back? I get. He
I think there
said,
could be.
He said,
elements that will-
I get people's nostalgia, but
I
people are
think it
kinda mad
could be a
about
good like midpoint though. Like if they ever do remake a game more faithfully, or if they're bringing like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to the next console or to the Switch eventually, like it could be like, hey, you like this remake? That kind of style is similar to these new games that we have coming out. Because like your fiance, like I really got into Zelda after Breath of the Wild,
Mm.
and I had dabbled in the other ones when I was a kid, but I just didn't really. They didn't grab me. And then like I went back to play Ocarina of Time, and I tried to when I was like 11 because every YouTuber was like, it's the best game ever, and I was like, okay,
Mhm.
sick. And then I played it, and I was super upset because it was not what I thought it was gonna be.
disagreed.
Well, I grew up in the Wii generation too, so I like
Sure.
think different
so at
vibe.
11, did you try to play in the 3DS one instead?
I played the Wii U,
No,
One.
okay, and
The
like
Virtual
the
Console.
NSO Virtual Console one.
Yeah.
I think I would like the 3DS one a lot more, but
yeah, that's why I was wondering because it is a little different. So,
yeah.
but
It-
honestly, gameplay wise, it's very similar.
Yeah, like you might. It visually looks kind of better, and
Mhm.
I mean,
And they
it's-
added the master mode in with it.
yeah, master mode was cool, but
But again, the master mode was only going to matter to people that already. loved
that's
it.
not going to make you like the game
No.
if you hated it
No.
before.
The controls are. I mean, like I have you guys.
the aiming was better.
Yeah.
Aiming was
Oh
better.
really? That was kind of the main thing that pissed me off.
yeah, aiming
Yeah.
was better in the 3DS version. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is important. And then the
Quality of
item navigation was a little bit better too. Like
Yeah.
swapping the iron boots, for example.
Mhm, that was
Oh,
annoying
yeah,
in the
'cause-
original.
In the original, like doing that in the water temple
That was so annoying.
was you had to go through so much stuff. Yeah,
to
that was
pause
a
the game,
huge
like, yeah.
improvement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
And then the water temple, they did make that a little bit easier to navigate through.
Oh really?
Yeah. Those are some
But
of the
yeah,
big
dude,
changes.
even just like because on the N64 controller, you didn't even have dual analog sticks, and
Mhm.
on the 3DS it was janky. But so just even to have modern aiming with the
That's
like the
it's
slingshot,
that's
like-
one of the reasons why I love Skyward Sword HD though, right? Because they did add a movable camera, which the original didn't have. And just being able to play the game without having to use motion controls, that plus 60 FPS, like for me, like those are small little things, but they made the game really fun for me.
I'm the only person in the world that wishes that motion controls were the way Zelda was controlled forever. I love those controls so much.
Hey, hold on. Don't misconstrue what I said. I liked the motion controls, but I wanted to play it like.
Oh,
with
Gabe.
But
Explain
see,
it.
you like what I wanted. No. See, that but part doesn't exist in my vocabulary for this. I want all Zelda games to control that way. I love it. Those motion controls were great. We just needed to not be treated like we were babies. We needed real enemies that actually, attack and take advantage, not like so obvious how you attack them.
It'd be a cool side Zelda game if they were to do like
I mean, by the way, I'm the
VR
only
Zelda.
person who thinks this, so it's okay. I see the hate in the chat.
Ocarina of Time is not even your top 10,
Look,
so
no, but
Wait,
Skyward
it's not top
Sword's in
10?
my top 5. So I'm just saying.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
is
we're
a really
not
good
getting we're
story.
not getting into what my time Ocarina of Time could get there if they make certain changes in a remake.
Yeah.
I think they don't even have to do very much for a remake. Like, just modernize the controls, update the graphics, make everything look nice. But we don't have to change the game, really, because I think it's a really good game underneath all the jank.
Yeah, I mean,
of
and
the
that may be
N64.
what they do. Like, if you look at most of Nintendo's remakes, like it's usually just visual
Oh
uplift,
yeah, they don't
quality of
have
life
to, but
upgrades.
I just think it would be cool. Like I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
it'd be great
Oh,
for
it'd be
sure.
so
Especially if they
cool.
added like an extra dungeon or something. That'd be
If they
cool.
just made it like like that footage of like someone who like made like Kakariko Village and Unreal Engine
Yes, I saw
years
that.
ago. If they just made it like pretty much exactly like that, modern gameplay, but everything was 1-to-1 and it was like that, it'd be amazing. Like I would be all in. But if they
So-
just added some of the stuff that I was talking about earlier, I just think it would be so cool, you know?
I think it's interesting you guys bring that up because like the original, like a lot of the like houses and even Castletown, like they're in 2D. Like it's like
Yeah,
it
they're
would be
static
nice.
backgrounds. They're like the
Right,
Final
it would be
Fantasy
nice
VII
to have
backgrounds.
like a
Yeah.
fully 3D rendered area, like everything with a movable camera, so you could fully explore and look around. Like that, I
That's
feel
what I'm
is a
saying.
reasonable expectation.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
if they put 1-to-1 motion controls in an Ocarina of Time remake, it'll be in my top 5.
Dude, I'm honestly
Just
like
throwing that
part
out
of
there.
me's hoping that
I'm
it's a
not like
Switch-
I'm not even trolling. That's the thing. Like Charles Trudell agrees with me in the chat. He's one of the few people that love the controls. Here's the thing. The controls, I think, are great. People not paying attention to the tutorial and thinking they could waggle like it's Twilight Princess is the problem. It's really, really good, and it could be so much better today. And you know the irony is, I hate VR, but that's where you get those kind of controls now, is in a VR environment.
That's what I was
So
gonna say
I guess
earlier.
I just need to hope for a VR Zelda someday, because that's the only time I'm going to get this.
Labo.
But we all have our. Here's the thing. I say this, and Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite Zelda game of all time. So like, obviously, it's not a requirement for me to think a game is great. It's just I really love the 1-to-1 sword controls. I could do away with maybe some the extremes they went, where they made you actually have to draw the bow. I could have probably did away with that aspect, especially when they let you literally point and shoot the slingshot. They could have made you draw the slingshot too. And it's like, okay, well, after you use the slingshot, it makes you not want to use the bow. But the sword controls are really what got me. I so enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, but it's okay. They already gave us Skyward Sword HD. It is what it is. I'm glad that they gave other controls for it, by the way, the right stick, because it allowed more people to enjoy it that otherwise wouldn't have. And even still, people complain about it because they'd rather it just be a button press, and that's fine. You know,
How do you feel about it, Josie? Like,
I don't know.
what are your thoughts on Skyward Sword?
I like
Since
Skyward
you-
Sword. I grew
since
up with
started
that
with it.
game though, sort of. Like I never beat it as a kid, but my brother always played it. So like I have a soft spot for it, I think.
What about the motion controls?
I liked the controls as a kid, but when it came to the Switch, I played entirely like
you played it with the traditional
Yeah.
controls.
I think
Yeah.
I think it'd be a cool idea, I guess, if they had it like as an option. But I don't think we
I
should
love that
ever
you
have
had you had the butt use ads instead, but like because
So there's
that's
nobody
what
on the
killed
show
it.
that agrees with me. Got it. All right. That's fine.
I love Waggle too, but I
I'm
just think
alone.
it doesn't really fit Zelda super well.
It's not Waggle. Skyward Sword's not Waggle. It's
Okay.
not. Pay attention to the
Well,
tutorial.
so
there's
the
no
problem,
Waggle.
I
the
paid
problem is,
attention.
though, you can waggle. You can use waggle to get through, even though you shouldn't
Okay.
be able-
Yes, you can. And you can also just spam the attack button with a single button and get through most of Zelda. What's your point? It's not any different. If you're just gonna waggle, then just spam your attack button. You'll get through almost every Zelda game. You don't have to aim your attacks. You don't have to time it.
I
Just keep
didn't
spamming
mean
the
to say
sword swipe.
Waggle. I was trying to say motion controls, I think. I like motion controls, is what I'm saying. But I
I
just
hated
think
the
they
waggle
don't
and
fit
What's
Twilight
super
Princess.
annoying about that? He'll take like one thing that you're like trying to say and like make a whole point against it. I hate it.
But because waggle is not the same
Well,
as
you
motion
just said that
controls.
you're not talking about it,
I
you're
meant-
still on it.
I know,
motion
I know,
controls,
but and I appreciate she corrected herself. Waggle is what they had in Twilight Princess on Wii.
I actually
Mhm.
liked the waggle. Made it feel more satisfying. It was better than a button press.
It's your podcast now, Andre.
Oh, great. I didn't check the topics.
why did he leave? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Sorry,
Because I
I'm
said
trying
I
to
like
I'm trying to
waggle.
cleanse myself over here. I gotta drink some pickle juice quick.
Are you serious?
Wait, what the hell?
It's spicy
Oh my
pickle juice. by the way.
God.
You do that?
I don't know
I've
what
never
you're
seen
talking.
you do that before.
Here's the thing. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. The thought is
Waggle.
gone.
How many shots did you take?
No, it's not the shot.
Good
Okay, I was
question.
just
Good
No,
curious.
that's not the. Yeah, she is new. She chat forgive her. She is new. She doesn't know I got to be 18 deep before we have a problem. And Eric can confirm he's seen it.
Drink Wisconsin.
Anyways, tequila is different though. If I do 3 tequilas, I will be under the table.
Since you're
that just hits different.
approaching inebriation with your pickle juice, I'll continue on with the topic. What do we think about the CZR 2024 specifically, though? Like that lettering,
Yes.
like what does that mean?
Let me bring up the Boom Mini chat on that one more time, because he really wanted us to know, like, what do we really think this means?
Crusty Zelda Remake, and they're remaking Ocarina of Time because it's crusty.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Boom.
the CDI games.
Rejuvenated. Yeah, there we go.
I'm just
Okay.
going to go with the cast Zelda reveal.
Don't you think it's too early though?
They announced the movie right now. Why wouldn't they announce the cast next year?
Well, they announced the Mario movie years ago, but years before they announced the cast.
I'm pretty sure it was 1 year before they announced the cast.
Calm
It was
down.
literally like a year apart.
Take it easy.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. No.
Eric's doing the Googling. He'll correct us fact wise on this. He's got it. And so is Andres. I was like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this one.
I know I'm right.
Oh,
He does have like a photographic memory sometimes, dude.
This feels like when I thought I was right about the Ocarina of Time ending.
No, dude, you remember last week? He was like, "Oh, the Wind Waker came out May 23rd, 2002, or whatever he said," and he was right.
Yeah, well, we were all right. We were thinking North American release. He was thinking Japanese.
And I was like, well, in December. Yeah.
Technically, all of us
December
were correct.
2002.
We were thinking of
He's
different
the only one that
territories.
dropped an exact date like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I made a video on it.
Yeah, he made a
beforehand where I
he
did
made a
research.
video.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right, fair.
Yeah.
That's why
Dude,
I mentioned
here
him.
I was thinking you were like the smartest person ever.
Maybe I am.
Dude, Eric's struggling over here. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, hold on.
All right. When was the Mario movie first announced? Let's just establish this.
2018 from what I saw.
Yes, January 31st, 2018.
And then it was 2022 or 2021, sorry. September
When the cast was
2021,
When the cast was revealed.
3 years.
Oh, but to be fair though, well, you know what? That's not really fair because the Zelda
Anders
movie was announced in a financial briefing as well. They both were announced in a financial.
Right.
He's always got to pull
Exactly.
out some fucking.
Yeah.
Well,
So what
exactly.
he's saying
Sorry.
is
David,
it can't
I'm
be
David
that.
Quinn.
We're 3
What are
years
you
away
talking
from the
about?
Zelda
The
cast.
Mario
Got
movie
it.
was announced January 2018 in a financial briefing.
Yeah,
similar
and
to
so
how
was the Zelda
was announced
movie.
in a
Dude,
Yeah,
financial
leave me alone.
briefing.
That's what I was just
Exactly.
trying to say. I was just trying to get you, and then I realized the Zelda movie was announced the same way. I'm admitting you're right, and I'm wrong.
Okay.
You're right.
What do
Sorry
you
to
think
argue
the
then.
CZR thing stands for?
I still think it's gonna be the cast Zelda movie. I'm just throwing it out there.
You're just. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I'm skeptical because I think the Zelda
Animation
movie's
takes
further
longer.
out.
That's why I think it took longer. That's my. I'm gonna stick by that argument.
We do know they haven't started filming yet, though. Like they're not even putting that together yet.
We don't know 100% yet because
We
the
know the
director.
director's working on another movie right now. He may work on
Yes.
on a movie before this other movie, another King Kong related movie.
That's not what he said in his most recent interview. He
Well,
literally
King Kong
said
Planet of the Apes.
up next. I'm adventuring in Hyrule is what he said.
Well, that's if you go back to it, there is this implication. He's working on what is it? It's either Planet of the Apes.
It's
or,
Planet
or
of the
King
Apes is
Kong.
the one coming out next year.
Right. So he's working on a series right now, right? So he's either wrapped. So I guess the point is, if you go back to the interview, it could be that movie and then Zelda. But there's, I think, a possible implication that maybe there's another movie in the same series. So it would just be kind of like this thing. But yeah, point is that he's not.
He
They're
could
not
be
working
working
on
on
a
more
movie right now.
To note, directors sometimes do work on more than one movie at once as well. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It depends on
but-
how the shooting schedules line up.
We don't even know if they've hired a cast yet.
No, we don't. I have no idea.
We don't.
But, I mean, the
So
strike just recently ended.
It's listen. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm skeptical.
probably wrong. I was just bringing it up because it involves the letter C.
Yeah, I mean it's possible.
It's a very
So what do
broken
you think
English
it is,
word.
Andres?
I don't. So the thing is, I love the idea of it being maybe it's standing for a classic Zelda reveal, because that would be an Ocarina of Time remake potentially. But I also think that expecting Ocarina of Time remake next year feels like a little bit of a stretch if we assume Switch 2 is coming out next year. Like if they're gonna get 3D Mario, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out, then Nintendo's gonna want other things besides single player games in like that launch window. So it just feels like too many like single player like hardcore Nintendo stuff to have all at the
No.
same time.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of thinking that if we are getting the Ocarina of Time remake soon, it would be a 2025 thing. Now maybe they just reveal it in 2024.
Yeah, that's what
right?
that's what it'd be, a
So
reveal. That's
and
what
so
I'm thinking.
maybe that's the case, right? But I also feel like I'm not sure Nashville would be privy to that. It's possible. And so I threw out another idea that maybe it's a Capcom Zelda remake. But then when I think about that, we just got Link's Awakening remake. So to get
Wasn't
2D
just.
Zelda remakes, well, my point is that we haven't got a new top-down 2D Zelda yet. So it would be kind of weird to me if we got
But
2 remade Zeldas that are 2D in a row
but
before
they
you.
might not be making new top-down Zeldas anymore. If you listen to Aonuma, they're not doing classic Zelda new games anymore. I know that's just his team.
Well, A Link Between
technically-
Worlds is different than the other Zeldas. Like it has that open format.
You mean it's like A Link to the Past? It's literally they just copy what A Link to the Past did. It
Well,
literally.
A Link Between Worlds.
I
you
don't
can
just
do-
mean
you
the
do
world. I
dungeons
don't mean
out
the
of
world.
order.
You can do Dungeons Out of Order in A Link to the Past.
Are you? I mean, I'm not saying you
Yes.
couldn't. I
Yes.
think there's like a
I'm like,
relatively
look,
set
the chat
path,
can
right?
check me on this. You can do them out of order. They
I've
were
only beaten the
inspired by
game
this
once.
Good night,
But-
Fox.
I remember it being a relatively
Yeah.
like, okay, this is the
Jake
direction
had to
you
make
go.
sure he said goodnight. I don't know if that's the woman, but it is potentially a
No.
woman. It is potentially a woman.
It is a woman.
I'm
Yeah, so
pretty
I'm not-
sure.
I'm not really convinced either way, like what it
Well,
is.
Yeah.
every
Zelda
week.
Chic Warrior 94 says is confirming, or at least
I
on
do
my
like
side,
Fox,
saying
though.
you can do some of the dungeons out of order.
Some,
yeah.
not all.
Technically, it's some
You
in
can
A
do
Link Between
some
Worlds.
dungeons
You
every time out of order,
you
but it's
can't
still
do
considered
you
a
can't
Legend of
do
Zelda game.
you can't do all the dungeons out of order in A Link Between Worlds either.
Yes, you can.
So you can go right to the end dungeon right away.
All right, excluding the end dungeon.
Not just the end dungeon. Not
can
just
do-
the end
you
dungeon.
can
There's a
do,
bunch
like,
of dungeons you have to do.
You
other
have
dungeons
like
first.
8 different items that you can pick from the beginning, and each item allows you to go to a different
I'll-
dungeon in the world right from
I'll-
the beginning.
Sure. What I'm saying is there are certain dungeons you can't do till other dungeons are done. I'm bringing this up because actually Tears of the Kingdom did something very similar. There's a dungeon in Tears of the Kingdom you can't do just because you want to do it either.
Mhm.
True. Technically, he's right.
The
That's-
fifth
oh,
dungeon you
that's-
can't
I've
just go
heard
to it and do
people
it.
can do it, but I think there are some things you have to do in order to do it.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not just available
technically-
to you.
Well, technically,
I-
Andres is right because you can actually beat the whole game without doing any of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can beat the game. Yes.
So the thing is, with the Spirit Temple,
I
that's
guess
what
you're
we're
okay.
referring
You're
to.
right.
I
There
just kicked
is-
Eric and now he's pissed.
There is a series of quests that you have to do,
My
if
foot
I'm not
slipped off this
mistaken,
rug.
to beat that dungeon, but that doesn't require beating the other dungeons. You can ignore all the other dungeons and do the series of quests that allow you to do the Spirit
Sure.
Temple. Like going to that island in the sky that's related to the dragons. Like I think that's tied to that, and it's not tied to the other dungeons. So you can
Okay.
still technically do the Spirit Temple for the other dungeons.
I'm actually curious.
I
I
think.
haven't attempted it, but let me see.
There's nothing stopping you from going on that island in the sky where the storm is.
Um,
I'm not
I
even
think
sure
some
what we're
sort of
arguing about, though.
2D Zelda could make sense though.
it
'cause,
apparently
like,
requires a lot of prep. It is.
do we know
possible.
what Grezzo's doing? Just a
We don't.
so like they could be doing some sort of new-ish 2D top-down type Zelda thing.
Yeah, but they also could be doing
Oh.
a 3D Zelda because they've done
Yeah, the
both
Spirit
before.
Temple has the
Oh, shit.
highest requirement of stuff you need to do ahead of time to be able to do it.
But
You
you
have to
don't
do
have
a
to
ton,
do
you have to
the
do
other
a ton of
dungeons.
shrines and a bunch of other stuff in order to even be able to do it. Apparently,
Yeah, but it can be your
Interesting.
first dungeon.
it can technically be your first dungeon. Yes,
Yes, but it's
assuming that
harder
you
for
guys
sure.
don't count shrines. But cool. So,
But anyways,
I got fact checked. Thank you. I appreciate it. I
To-
like
to
getting
the
out.
point though, right? Like it's just like a 2D Zelda could make sense next year. Like Nintendo's gonna want to give like the Switch One some games too, you know. So
I just
I'm
don't
not
think we're getting a
convinced
new
either
2D
way.
Zelda. I just don't think they're making any brand new top-down Zeldas. I know I want one,
Oh, this
and
is why we
I'll be
got
happy to be
argument.
wrong.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're going to do that. I think there will be if not done with top-down Zelda, and that they're going to remake more of them. I just don't, because I was going to bring this up later that hey, I don't think Ocarina of Time is the only remakes we're getting. We're going to get more remakes of the top-down Zeldas as well. I don't think they're going to make new top-down Zeldas anymore. I think, and you might go because like when you mentioned, well, we had Link's Awakening recently, yeah, but we've had Skyward Sword HD since then. Now it's time for a top-down Zelda remake. Like that actually might make more sense to come out next year, and could have been
Right.
what Grezzel's been working on this whole time.
right. That's why I'm not sure it's Ocarina of Time remake.
Capcom, I know, and the thing is, you mentioned the Capcom thing.
Like,
I don't know if you
man,
told me at
imagine
first.
Minish Cap remake.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good.
Minish Cap. I mean, I know the Oracle games too. Those have had rumors for a little bit.
People would love
as
those.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love it.
Some people would think that it's actually, if they did the Oracle games, it's set up because there was supposed to be a third one.
Right.
So they could somehow add more. Like there's actually more stuff out there that never got done that maybe they could do as well to make it more enticing to buy them. But that's just the the sea can mean so many things. Like that was the premise that you set up was the sea.
I mean, it's clearly, I mean, in a nod to Jake, it's clearly clean
Clean
Zelda remake.
Oh,
It's clearly clean.
I was thinking cannoli.
That too.
Well,
I mean, some people throw classic Zelda remake out there, which I mean,
Yeah,
that's such a broad term though.
it's extremely broad. Yeah,
Yeah.
but also we don't know what he's alluding to. I mean, there's all assuming he's not completely false, like he's just a fake. I don't think he's a fake leaker.
You mean that he's
but-
fake and made everything up?
Yeah,
It's
that's
fu- it's
totally
funny-
possible.
It's funny because you mentioned earlier how I don't think he'd be privy to a certain knowledge of a Zelda game or whatever. But if we give him all that credit for Metroid Dread, well, how's he so knowledgeable about
Well,
Metroid?
that is Mercury Steam.
Sure.
That's a studio outside of Nintendo.
But
right?
I would think any studio working on Zelda remakes would be outside of Nintendo.
And that's fair. And so maybe I was off for suggesting that.
As
We
an
don't know.
example, Bandai Namco has a 3D action remaster in the works somewhere. Or remake. We
Oh.
don't know.
Is this
What
you
I
trying to
know
segue?
where everyone else stands on this, but
No.
just
the
it'll
segment's
help
Tears of
me,
the Kingdom.
it'll help me get
Segue.
context. I just need to know if Josie prefers Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
That is a question.
That's a hard
Right?
question.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh god, I was.
You can give it a
She's not
you can
she's
explain
getting
why you like
flustered.
both.
She's
It's
getting
okay.
red over there.
You
Hold
don't
on,
have to
give her a
pick one,
moment.
but,
She's
like,
got to
if you
compose.
explain why you like each one.
Yeah.
That's something.
Okay. Breath of the Wild. I'm not saying it's the better one, but I really like Breath of the Wild because it got me into Zelda sort of, and I liked that it was like this open format. And I think it's easier to go back to. Oh, just out of curiosity, said that in the chat almost exactly. It's easier to go back to for me. And I think it's sort of more impactful than Tears of the Kingdom, I guess. But I had more fun with Tears of the Kingdom because you could do crazy stuff.
I feel like Andres, I think you said similar things before.
Yeah,
I remember one conversation where I was talking about hyping up how good Breath of the Wild was because we had been talking about how much better Tears of the Kingdom was a lot.
Mhm.
And you were like, that pisses me off. We were on the same page. We weren't disagreeing with me. But you were like, thank you for saying good things about Breath of the Wild because it did different things.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's a little weird. I feel like I've said this a lot too. I think as time passes, my feelings on Zelda kind of develop, right? Because with Breath of the Wild, when I beat it, I was like, okay, this is done. This is good, but was it that great? And then over time, I kind of found myself going back to it, loving it more and more. And so I kind of have a suspicion that the same thing's going to happen to Tears of the Kingdom. So if you were to ask me right now, what is my preferred game of the two, I would say Breath of the Wild. But there's an asterisk there because I understand my development for my love of Breath of the Wild developed in a way that could lead to Tears of the Kingdom taking that spot. I also feel like they're so similar. It's kind of like talking about Galaxy 1 and 2. I rather just kind of think of them as one
I
giant
see that,
game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Honestly, it's very similar because I feel like Galaxy 1 had the story was more impactful because it was the
Mhm.
first one, but and Galaxy 2 is honestly it's almost just levels. That's it. There's nothing in between. But a
So
lot of people like it
streamlined.
more. It added Yoshi, which Tears of the Kingdom's added stuff.
Galaxy 2 is great.
It's a
better.
great comparison.
Yeah.
So that's actually, I guess, a nice segue since Tears of the Kingdom is the next topic.
Funny how that
And
worked.
funny how that worked. It was almost like it just naturally happened because we're talking Zelda.
Or Jake just
Jake
orchestrated
forced
it
it because he wanted Josie to be
I
on
didn't
his
even
side.
realize he segued.
No, I feel like we should ask that to everyone that comes on the podcast. The Spawncast has the GameCube or N64 one. I don't know if they still do that.
Oh, I mean, sort of. I got asked that. I don't know if they.
Oh, that's a tough question.
I said
Yeah,
GameCube.
they
I don't really
asked-
like the N64, but
See, they asked me that, and I know what
Andres
they
and I
wanted me
literally
to say,
had
but I
this
said
debate.
N64.
mm,
Yeah. Just my stance is N64 is more important to history, but GameCube has more games that I kind of hold in higher regard.
that's what I said, and I told everyone how I understand that the N64 is so important. I still got blasted. They were like, "This little, she's too young to understand how important that was, and I was like, I get
But
it,
you
man. I just
literally
talked
said it's
Well,
about it.
it's
supported.
not that you're too young to understand, but you're too young. You're too young to be nostalgic, right? Because
Yeah.
like I was 7 years old playing Ocarina of Time on the N64 and Pokemon Snap, and it was easy for me to tell back then that GameCube games were better, deeper, higher quality, obviously looked way better. But the amount of fun I had at like 7, 8, 9 years old playing games on the N64, so I just gotta pick it. It was different with
Mhm.
GameCube.
Well, I grew up with the Wii, so I didn't really have like an emotional attachment to either one of those.
We
Yeah,
just
so
but,
it would totally make sense. Like
Yeah,
that's the right answer is to pick GameCube.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, the right answer is to pick a Wii that can play GameCube games.
Yeah. How do you feel about
Yeah.
Wii? How would you rank Wii?
I like the Wii is kind of my favorite console of all time. I know
Bam.
but it's nostalgia. Like I know it's not great, but it's just like that's just
Well,
nostalgia.
It's hard for me to say it's bad. It's got a lot of good games. I guess
has-
for me, like the GameCube had third-party games too. Like there was Resident Evil 4. I mean, obviously we had Wii
We got
Edition,
Call
but
of Duty. It was bad, but we got
yes,
it.
there
Oh,
were
no, it was not bad. Whoa, now.
there were a lot of shooting games on GameCube
no.
as well.
Hey, that's
Mhm.
another example where motion controls were better.
Yeah, they were pretty good there.
The motion controls in Call of Duty were sick.
I don't know. I know it's
Mm.
like kind of the Wii isn't great, but like
No,
it's
motion controls.
personal.
Resident Evil
Personally.
4.
Yeah, that was good too.
That was
Yeah,
awesome.
the
That was
Wii
really good
Edition
too,
was like the best.
Wii in
Resident
general for
version of Resident Evil
shooters
4.
was man. Motion controls are
Yeah.
great for those.
Super underestimated because a lot of the dude bros were like, "Oh, Wii's for babies," but there's a lot of good shooting games on there.
Yeah, Wii's for babies.
Yeah.
So go get your Wii U and grab your normal dual stick controller and watch me kick your ass with a Wiimote in Black Ops right now. I'm not even kidding. I haven't even played that game for. Go ahead, go grab your dual stick controller. Watch what happens against someone with a Wiimote. You are
Talking about
dumb.
Black Ops or Black
They-
Ops 2?
It's Black Ops 2. They had to literally
I love
separate
it.
out the lobbies because of how bad it was. How much dual stick
I
controllers.
still
people were
play
getting
Black
murdered.
Ops 2.
Yeah, dude. People.
That's why I have my Wii U still.
Dual stick controllers were getting murdered by the Wiimote in that game. They had to separate out the lobbies. That's how bad it was. It was like playing. It's like taking dual sticks and putting up against mouse and keyboard. You're done. Don't even
You
try.
remember the Conduit?
Oh,
The Conduit? Oh, it was so cool.
Wait, what is that? I've never heard of that.
It
Mhm.
was this developer that wanted to make like the Halo Killer or something like that, but for the Wii, and it was a game made specifically for the Wii, developed for the Wii, and it was one
Wait,
that
was the game called The Conduit or that was
Yes.
the developer?
that's the game.
That's the
game's
game.
called the Conduit.
Okay, the game it was called.
Yeah.
Wait, did it
It's
come out?
it's yeah, it came out.
Yeah.
They even got a sequel,
Yep.
and they're both fire.
Yep. They're both really good.
Yeah.
I liken the Conduit to the way Time Splitters 1 and 2 was. Those games were fire as well. So people that played those back in the day just know. People today would be like, oh, they're lame. But if you played it back then, they were a big deal.
Timing really matters for a lot
Yeah.
of these things.
Same with the Conduit and Conduit 2. They're both great.
Yeah.
And you might go back now and play and be like, oh, not so great. But for the time, they were awesome.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. Anyways,
Dude,
we'll
now
leave
I
that
want to try
alone.
that. I've never heard of that. It sounds like it was awesome, and like I'd pay attention to like hidden gems and stuff. I'm surprised. Have you heard of that, Josie?
I have not at all. But
Eric, had you ever played that?
Have you guys
Because you
heard of
like
Mad
COD and
World?
stuff, right? I know you do, right?
What?
You
Like
like Call of Duty and stuff?
Halo.
Halo. Yeah.
Halos.
Oh well,
I'm more
okay.
of a-
There
I'm
were
not
some
much
good,
much of a
like,
Call of
kind
Duty
of
fan.
edgy Wii games that like they're kind of coming back to me now. Like you had Red Steel 2.
Yeah.
Dude,
you
I
had
love
Mad
those
World
with the
Oh,
sword.
man.
Yep.
Yeah,
And Red Steel 2 was
it
so
wasn't
much
that
better.
good, but dude, you felt like a
Yeah.
samurai just slashing stuff because it was almost like an on-rail shooter with a sword.
Yep.
A little bit,
And
yeah.
And then
it
Red
was
Steel
so
2
fun.
actually made it more accurate, and it was
Yes.
it was nice.
Dude, one
yeah.
was
You
not
could
fun.
you
One
could
was
deflect
annoying.
gunshots.
One was like a
Two
tech demo. One was a
yeah,
tech
two
demo.
was
2 was
awesome.
great. Yeah.
a lot
Red
of
Steel
those
2. Play it on Wii, guys.
a
Sorry.
lot of those like edgier Wii games, like because I grew up with the Wii. I had it when I was like 5, right? So like when
Sure.
I was a kid. So like it was very different. But every time people talk about these like really edgy Wii games, I'm like, oh, I have to play them because I have like the nostalgia to like the Wii and like the motion controls. So then I'm like, actually, really good games would be great to play.
Yeah. But you know what I like about Wii? I know we're so off topic at this point, but you know what I love?
Yeah.
We're
Dude,
talking about video games?
no one talks shit about Wii Sports.
No.
Wii Sports is
That's
so
awesome.
great.
That's the best
If
game.
you
That
talk
game
shit
is-
about Wii Sports, you're showing your ignorance.
Yeah, it is so, especially, I mean, at the time it was revolutionary, but like even today, it is. If
Bro,
you go to
I
a bar that's
love
got a Wii
playing
set up
Switch
for Wii
Sports.
bowling, my God, it is just so fun. You don't even know. You're
Have
too
you guys played
judgmental.
Switch Sports? I
Mhm.
love Switch Sports.
Yeah, Switch Sports is
so
pretty good too. Yeah,
I bought it and never played it.
yeah, Switch
You
Sports is
have
pretty
it.
good too.
It's forever.
Dude,
I
I was
mean, to
like
be
gonna
honest,
play
Switch
it with
Sports
my
is
dad because we used to play Wii Sports and stuff. So I bought
Yeah.
it like to play with him, and like I brought it over and set it up, and like brought my Switch dock and everything, and then like it was an extra Switch dock. So I never played it, and it's still just like set up like that.
I did the same thing, except for me, it worked out. I got Switch Sports not for myself, but for my dad, because we used to play Wii Sports a lot together, and he loved it.
Exactly.
It was like the best gift I ever got him. He
Dude,
plays it all the
same,
time.
yeah, same idea. I like
I
it.
love I love in the chat when like one of our moderators Nats is like Wii Sports could create world peace. I swear. I don't know, man. You get in a tennis match, it gets intense. I'm gonna just tell you right now, a tennis match, there ain't no peace at the end of that tennis match.
Especially if you let go of the controller and break the
Oh
television.
yeah, you break the TV, then you're
Why aren't you use the straps?
Oh my god, my brother broke his thumb doing that. He,
What?
what?
Well, because like I don't know, we were playing with it, and there was like we had this bench, and like I was playing
Yeah.
against him, I was whooping him, and then his like hand like went all because he was like hitting with crazy force, and so his thumb like smacked the table super hard, and it
Oof.
broke.
Oh man,
It was crazy.
This is why I got
but,
to play
like,
outside.
It was funny because with Wii Sports, like my whole generation loves it, and like when I came back for winter break to like see my parents and everything, a bunch of my friends were back, and literally like 2 nights ago, everyone was like, we just literally went and played Wii for like 3 hours. It was really funny.
What did
That's
you
awesome.
wait? This was a couple days ago.
Yeah, we played Switch
games?
Sports, or not Switch Sports, Wii Sports, and
Yeah. But you know, Wii Sports is
Mario Kart.
transcendent. Because I've
Oh,
got kids, right? I got kids at age 8, 10, and 13, and they didn't grow up with Wii, right? And my sister has it. And when we go to her house every time, they try Wii Sports for the first time ever. They didn't care that it was blurry. They didn't care about any of that. They had so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's a transcendent game. It just clicks.
Yeah, like none of my friends really here are gamers, but my one friend still has a Wii, and we all went over, and it's just so intuitive. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Revolutionary.
How about Switch? How about Switch Sports? Wii Sports Resort.
Oh, I love Wii Sports Resort too.
Yeah,
but
Wii
I don't
Sports
think it's
Resort
like the
is good as well.
same, like
Yeah, it doesn't have the same
iconic
nostalgia
thing,
kick. Yeah.
but it's good.
Yeah, but it's
Well,
fun.
Wii Sports had
miss
like the
archery.
perfect mix of the
Mhm.
original sports that you want. Like Nintendo Switch Sports is great, but people will always go back to Wii Sports instead because they
Right.
feel like the mix of sports was better.
I can't believe they didn't
the
put boxing in Switch Sports. It was like that was crazy to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Like, look, the
I hope
Katana
hopefully-
thing's cool, but I barely see anyone ever care to play the Katana game. In
Hey, by the way,
Switch Sports.
Nate, I'm pretty sure we had a debate once, and you're like, I don't think Switch Sports is going to sell one. I was like, nah, it is. It's going to sell well over time. And what has happened? It has sold
mean-
well over time, hasn't it?
It's sold all right. I mean, I was talking about doing Wii Sports Resorts numbers, which is 30 million plus, and it's not that.
Well, yeah, but we definitely didn't disagree on that.
I don't remember where we saw, but that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking of selling well because I was looking at franchise history.
By the way, it sold
Wii
over
Sports-
10.7 million, which is pretty impressive.
I thought it sold over 15 million. Maybe I'm
Oh
wrong.
well, maybe this is old data. I just saw a wiki page.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember. I thought it sold over 15. Someone in the chat probably. I feel like there was an announcement, but I could be wrong.
It may
Could be thinking
continue.
of a
It may
different
get
game.
to that point.
I know it
Switch
was in the-
Sports sold over 10.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is a lot. Yeah.
10.77 as of Nintendo's most recent financial report on
Okay.
September 30th.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah, then I
they'll-
was thinking of a
yeah.
different game. Okay.
Maybe
One
they'll
what's
put more
crazier about
sports
that
in it.
though? It's only the 19th best-selling Switch game at 10.77 million.
Well, I mean, look,
Makes
Switch is
sense.
selling.
But did you say the 19th best?
Yeah.
Did you
10
know
plus.
that from memory, or do you look it up?
I had wiki in front of
There's
me.
a list.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
the list is out there.
You're about to be so
He's
impressed.
always so impressed with Andre's memory. He's like, wait, I gotta check. Wait, did you actually know it was the 19th? That's insane if you just have that memorized.
No.
He might now, though. See, like 3 podcasts from now, he'll recall that it's the 19th best.
Well, the other thing is I know these things change, right? So like some things I throw out. Because it changes.
yeah, and the best selling changes every new financial report.
Yeah.
So for Tears of the Kingdom, what the topic really was about is that pretty much, I mean, it's been happening honestly all summer, but really since Tears of the Kingdom didn't win Game of the Year at the Game Awards, And we do have GOTY awards going on. Like it has won some game of the years. To be clear, there's like 26 or 27 different websites, maybe 30 now that have given it game of the year. But there's 50 plus that have given Baldur's Gate game of the year.
Oh, when are you gonna wear your Celtics jersey?
Yeah, what the hell,
I
man?
told you I would order it when my paycheck comes. That's next week. Yeah,
that's true.
He wants to know because he won a double bet against me, so it's gonna be you guys are going to tune into that episode.
You're gonna lose your channel to Jake eventually. Things are gonna escalate.
I don't think I'm gonna bet.
Wrong bet.
No, I did joke around. If Jake would have took the channel bet, he probably wouldn't fire me. I don't think he might fire me.
Dude, your channel is you. Like, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean?
Fire me.
Yeah,
That's why I said
you
I
could
didn't
end
want
my
it.
career.
Yeah,
See, that's
exactly.
if I embarrass him enough with his girl, he could just end my career. It's over.
Yeah, but he's not a shitty person. So
Dude, I
He's got a
hate
family, man. He
being
probably
caught
doesn't
so
want
off
to
guard
just-
by you.
No, I know. Even if I caused him and whoever this girl is to not work out, I still don't think he'd be like, yeah, fuck you and your kids. You're out. Oh, thanks.
No, honestly, I was really embarrassed, but she's loving it, and she's loving seeing me
I
embarrassed.
knew she
so.
was gonna love it. I know, dude. It's like I know the way. Look, I don't know you, by the way, personally, but I've dated a number of women that I knew they were gonna love it. Anyways,
Hey, no
I just
bragging.
I just thought, dude, you don't
I've dated a ridiculous amount of women.
No,
so I actually know exactly how they operate.
Many women.
And
And
my
my
I've been with the same woman
my
for 12
wife-
years.
my wife's a model, and she
Here
asked
we
me to marry her, and I didn't even want to.
I'm still not sure you're actually
I've been with the
married.
same woman for 12 years, but there are just certain things I notice every time I go out at work. Like I'll be with friends who are trying to like date women, and they'll be more into me before I literally have to like look them in the face and say I'm not available.
Please
I'm
get
sorry.
off of me, women.
Hey,
I am.
It's
my
a
fiance for 12
personality
years, but
thing.
chat, but
It's just
chat.
a personality thing. They like
I've been
the
with
confidence.
many women.
No, it's a confidence thing. It's true. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
dumb.
no, you're
I'm
right,
a
you're right,
bad
Andres.
bastard. No one should like me. I'm an asshole. I'm gonna die young.
Thanks, Andres.
I've got kids.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
No one wants a
By the
piece of
way-
this.
By the way, she talked in the chat. I'll see if you can find her.
I'm not gonna be able to find her. I mean, I'll have to go through after and see if she specifically called out who she was. Otherwise, I won't know.
She said
case you
Chaos
missed the
Girl loves
message.
it. LOL.
Oh wait, is she? wait, is that her username? Wait, hold on.
That's not her username.
Don't worry, I'll shut up
It's
on
like it's not. It's pretty recent.
Hey. She could just talk right now. You know, we could just end this right now. Just be
I
like,
could talk right now.
I'm
not sure.
eyeballing Jake right in the eye. I'm looking him right in the eyes. That'll let me know. Anyways, no. So the Tears of the Kingdom thing, basically, obviously, Baldur's Gate is widely considered the game of the year, which is cool. I was wrong. But Tears of the Kingdom did win some Game of the Year's award, just not the one that we betted on. The interesting part, though, isn't really. I don't really care about the GOTY stuff as much. I care about how people are talking about Tears of the Kingdom now that we are so many months out. 6 months out. And it seems that everywhere I go online, and maybe this is just a me problem, and the live chat can let me know, you guys can let me know what you see. It seems that people are just shitting all over Tears of the Kingdom. Like everywhere I turn, it's just being bad mouth.
Wait, really? I haven't.
Yeah,
seen
and
that.
I'm a Nintendo YouTuber.
Yeah,
with
it's kind
a
of all
Nintendo
over Twitter.
audience.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
every time I make a Zelda video, all the comments are like, I don't like Zelda. How do you like Zelda? I think it's just the cycle for Zelda games, though. There's just a vocal
100%.
minority that just is upset about nothing. And
But
then
people weren't saying this about Breath of the Wild
Yes.
6 months after launch. Wasn't happening then. So why is it happening now?
I mean, they were, though.
Well,
There was
Breath
a lot
of
of
the-
complaints about Breath of the Wild.
There absolutely
That was at
were.
launch. The launch, a lot of the purists were like,
No, but it
these
still
dungeons suck, and
happened.
blah, blah,
It's
blah.
still. No, it like kept. I don't know. At least in my
So-
experience, I wasn't a YouTuber yet, but there was a
Oh.
lot.
All of this is anecdotal, right? Like we
Yeah.
don't have quantifiable
yeah, that's why I said
evidence.
this is personal
speak to.
experiences. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's tough to say like which one was. I mean, obviously, Breath of the Wild. I think it's clear that game is more highly praised. But I mean, that makes sense. It was the big change. It was a big innovation, the big revolution.
Liken this to this. There's a lot of people that feel Majora's Mask is better than Ocarina of Time, but Ocarina of Time was the more important game.
Sure.
But that is a vocal minority. Yes. If you ask, me-
yes. The vocal minority is everyone who played Majora's Mask, which is half the amount of people who played
Right.
Ocarina of Time.
What? I mean, I played Majora's Mask. I won't say that it's better than Ocarina of Time. I
You
feel like
won't?
they're two different games. They're just two different experiences.
Which one do you think is better?
Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
But I say that with a heavy heart because Majora's Mask is freaking sick.
It's
Majora's
such a
Mask-
different game.
All
It's
right,
such a different game.
I don't know how many of you know the story, like my personal story with Majora's Mask, but like my birthday is October 29th, which means it's 2 days before Halloween. And so when I was
Dude, my
boy.
half birthday is October 29th.
Oh, and Eric, when's your
Yeah.
birthday? What was that
Third.
again? October 3rd.
anyway, so
Lots of Octobers.
just remember that when Majora's Mask came out was the year 2000, right? This is close to that Y2K time. There's a lot of people talking about it's the end of the world, and you literally have Nintendo putting out a game where the moon is coming to destroy the planet. Like, that's crazy. And then I got Majora's Mask for my birthday when I was at a young age where I was very, very easily influenced and very easily immersed. And I got it like for a Halloween party that was coinciding with my birthday. Like, that was just like a lot of really creepy, spooky elements all coming together at the same time. And so my experience with Majora's Mask, it's like the ideal Halloween game to me. It's just so cool.
So I give a shout out to Ananda 712, not just because he gave a 20, which makes me do another shot. Thank you so much. But he said, shout out to the real Zelda fans who appreciate all the games and don't get butthurt when the team doesn't give them what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also, Ocarina of Time is better than Majora's Mask.
This is where you throw your drink to the floor.
I'm so upset right now. Oh, I don't have it anymore. I was gonna go grab. I used to have a wooden Majora's Mask, but I gave it away like 4 years ago, so it's already gone.
I think
man, I was gonna go grab it and wear it the rest of the show.
I think Majora's Mask is a really, 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 really good sequel.
Yeah, Eric, hand me Skull Kid. I need him right now. It's right behind you. It's sitting on the box right there.
Dude, like I don't know how you can follow up any better than Majora's
Mask. He's gonna sit on my mic the rest of the
very different sequels to their respective games.
That's maybe a better question to ask. What's the better sequel, Majora's Mask or Tears of the Kingdom?
No, Majora's Mask is just better than Ocarina of Time.
Is it?
Well, does that make it a better sequel then? Because you think Breath of the Wild? Well, I don't know.
No, because Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game of all. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
So I think it's a better sequel, but I think it's because I'll give you one major reason. I said this 6 months ago. My opinion hasn't changed. Tears of the Kingdom made Breath of the Wild feel like a tech demo. Majora's Mask didn't make Ocarina of Time feel that way.
Exactly. It just felt like a different version of Ocarina of Time. Almost.
I didn't even feel like a different version of it to me. It felt like the big thing with Majora's Mask is one, I think all 4 dungeons in it are better than any dungeon in Ocarina of Time, and that is controversial, and I know. But setting aside the dungeons, the way it handled real-time activities and everyone had a purpose and the world felt alive, and then on top of that, the side quests mattered. And to this date, it's still one of the only Zelda games where the side quests truly matter.
I mean, I think it has the best side quest in Zelda history.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah. I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have some quests that kind of get close.
Yes.
But Majora's Mask is just so dense. Like I kind of want Nintendo to come out with another Zelda.
It was a living, breathing world.
Yes.
The only Zelda game that felt that way until Breath of the Wild.
In terms of the characters, right? Like I think Breath of the Wild can do a great job of the actual world you explore, but Majora's Mask did it with characters, and so
they had lives, they had emotions, they had relationships.
I want a Zelda game that
worries,
has both
concerns, a hand reaching out of the toilet to grab your ass.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Keep it clean. All right.
It's not even the only game that made that reference. It was it didn't Skyward Sword?
Skyward Sword had a toilet hand. Yeah,
had a toilet hand. Clearly, it was a callback to Majora's Mask, but
I don't know actually butt grabbing, but
No. It's a joke. Okay, you go to sit on the toilet, but there's a hand there. Yeah, that's what it is. It didn't actually grab your ass. Just like the milk is actually alcohol, right? But like you don't actually see Link get drunk from it.
Oh, that's right. The milk bar. There are drunk people in there.
Yes, they're drunk, but Link doesn't get drunk from it. And then there's also aliens, by the way.
That's your
Majora's
favorite,
Mask
right?
made aliens canon.
In the bar.
I love that scene.
What?
You were talking about that last week.
Yeah, dude, love it. And then you know, here's the thing. There's been multiple bars. Telma, what's up? Thank you so much for not.
Are there any bars in Breath of the Wild? There isn't, is there?
There's one.
There's not
one Gerudo Town.
Yes, you're right.
They got rid of the drink quest for it in Tears of the Kingdom, but there is a bar technically. You just can't get a drink from it in Tears of the Kingdom.
There should be different mechanics if like Link is drunk. That'd be so fun.
Yeah, it should be a status.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're seeing this in the chat though, like bringing this back around. Like just out of curiosity, is saying it's okay to say Tears of the Kingdom sucks. And I want to be very clear here. All of our feelings, whether it's on the panel, you guys, all of your opinions are correct to yourselves because we all have our own personal preferences. And I can recognize that. Like Tears of the Kingdom might be my favorite game of all time. To you, it might be one of the worst. And that's okay. We're not all ever going to agree on all of these different things. But it is fascinating that this is literally tied for the highest rated reviewed game of the year. It is like just factually one of the best selling games of the year.
Can I ask you a question?
And people just shit on it. I don't know, man. I
have one question for
People
you.
shit on Fortnite.
What's the highest rated game of all time?
Ocarina of Time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, with like its 30 reviews. Congrats.
Small sample size, but
Very small sample size. They didn't have as many reviews.
No more comments necessary. Thank you.
How did Ocarina of Time 3D review again? Did that happen to get a 99? You know, when there's more outlets reviewing?
I'm not very curious.
I'm not
You know
familiar.
you want to know what's going to become the highest review game of all time, though?
How do the NSO version of it? That one's got reviews out there. How'd that one get?
Nate, I want you to say it.
What's
What's going to become the highest review game of all time?
Nothing.
Hype it responsibly. No, hype it responsibly.
No, I can't hype it.
What's coming out next? Just do it. Just humor me.
Are you talking about Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah, you know I am.
It's going to hit a 96, but it's not going to.
At least.
No, it won't be. It's going to be a 96.
Can you imagine though if Metroid Prime 4 is a 96 or above Metacritic kind of game? That's gonna be
but it's not.
amazing.
I know you want me to hype irresponsibly. My only problem is nothing's ever going to be a 99 because it only happened because of the low amount of review.
Yeah, you have too many sour patches.
Yeah, when you know all games now are going to have 150 plus reviews counted, like it's just you're not going to get to a 99 again. But
it's a 97.
I will say this: Metroid Prime 4 has a shot to be the highest rated Nintendo exclusive game alongside the likes of Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, because those were both 97s. Well, actually, I think Odyssey might have fell to a 96. I have to double check, but yeah,
I mean,
like it has that
Prime
chance.
remastered a GameCube game that was just repurposed
94.
a bit.
Yeah.
94.
Yeah, but I mean, the crazy thing about Prime Remaster being a 94, I think, was that it still holds up. That's the thing.
That exactly. Like,
Yeah.
so imagine like they actually made a new game. Like,
It's a whole new team though. So I'm gonna hold my reservations till it comes out. So it's not the same developers. Really.
I know you're right. It could go south a little bit, but
I'm hoping. I have high hopes.
I got hopes.
I got a lot of hope for Metroid Prime 4. There's all these things like, you got Special Nick out there saying that, the world's massive, and I was like, oh my gosh, are they actually gonna do this? Are they gonna basically Starfield this, but with real content? Real content?
And
Not
no
empty
disappointment?
worlds? Exciting things?
We'll see.
Fun puzzles? Oh, I'm sorry. I love Metroid. Andres knows I'm a big Metroid guy. I helped found MetroidWiki.org back in the day. I'm a huge Metroid guy. I'm a bigger Zelda guy, and he's a little bit bigger at Metroid than I am. But I love Metroid, and the Prime series is.
I know. I think I heard that Josie loves the original Metroid. I think it's like her favorite.
It's her favorite.
The OG.
Am I right on that?
Oh yeah, that's my most controversial video. People are so
I know. I
upset at me for
remember
that.
seeing that like on Twitter and stuff. That's like
That was
one
like the
thing
first
that
time I
sticks out.
saw you. I think was that opinion.
Well,
Yep.
I stand by it. Also, I don't like it even more now because of all the crazy people that have like attacked me for it. So
That's
You know what I
fair,
say about this though? You know what I say about this? And I'm just gonna say this more to the audience than us. I think as people we know this. There's opinions I've had on content creators before I was one that completely changed because I used to not watch podcasts or anything. What I've realized is when you get a content creator on a podcast, you see a lot more of who they are, and it really helps frame everything they're making on their channel. And so I think it helps people not maybe be as upset as certain content creators when they hold certain opinions. If you actually pay attention to the grander content when they're outside of their normal, like, oh, I'm making this video, I'm researching this, I'm doing this, because I think people get locked in their heads, certain opinions of people. And I know that I get to talk to content creators. I get to know them a bit more, not just on a show, but I've just noticed that as I watch other podcasts, I'm starting to understand the thought process more rather than just judging from my own viewpoint based on, oh, I disagree with you. Let me yell on the internet.
well, I like fully think it's fine if people disagree with that opinion, especially if you grew up with it.
Because
So it's like,
I brought it up because I disagreed with you, And then
Yeah.
I saw you on Spawncast a few times, and I was like, oh, this actually it's all coming together.
I tried to be so polite in that video too, and like the amount of because I was
You
like,
were-
I understand
you
it
were
is a
very
good
polite.
game.
You
It is
were
a really
very
good
polite.
game, and I was
Yeah.
like, but I can't play it. And then I was like, the other thing about that is like, why would they have remade it as Zero Mission if it held up? It doesn't. That's why they remade it. That's why they
Yeah.
did a new thing. And like half the people are like, don't play the original, just play Zero Mission. And
how do you feel about Zero Mission?
I haven't played it actually because I'm waiting for it to come to Switch Online. But
Okay.
I've played
Sure.
every other
Samesies.
Metroid.
Are you like
love
kind
it.
of like fuck you guys? I don't want to play it now because you guys were kind of dicks.
Well, I want to play Zero Mission because like
Oh, sorry. I'm keeping it clean. Sorry. Fuck. Shit.
I thought you were given all right to not be clean. You're good.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
one of the
yeah.
nasty.
Sorry.
By the way, I got to take some time to dig through the comment. You guys carry the show. I got to find her in the chat.
No, but so you said you don't feel that way, or you do?
I don't like.
I just want to send her
want
an
to
at
play.
and say hi. That's all.
I mean, you're an
I'm-
actual Metroid fan. You just don't like. The
I do. I
original
really
because
like
it's
Metroid. Like
old.
I love Metroid Dread and I love Fusion, and I think I just kind of like the more not linear style, but the less confusing psychotic
Oh.
thing of Metroid. Like
How do you feel about
Fusion is
Dread?
like just like
I
Zero
love
Mission.
Dread.
Okay.
Huh?
Fusion is just like Zero Mission.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think I'll really like Zero Mission. I want to play it. But I just it's not on. I kind of like to stream those games because I think they're fun games to like
Sure.
where chat
Sure.
can help me if I ever get lost. And is usually why. But like I'm mostly just waiting for that. But I've played I think every other 2D Metroid. Yeah, and I really like all of them except for the first one. And I have some issues with Super, but I think it's a good game for what it is. So
Fair.
I love Metroid genuinely, and so I think it's funny when people like are like, "Gosh, she doesn't understand." I'm like, "No, I get it. I get why this is a good game. I appreciate that you guys like
Yeah.
it. It's just not my type of thing."
And that's good because that was my takeaway is that you were respecting the opinions of others, but also like, like when
I
people say
respect the
things like-
opinion, but then
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
but
But
in my opinion, it's kind of garbo.
that's what started getting me mad. And then I was like, I don't say anything, right? Because I'm a content creator now, so I'm like, I'm not going to say anything, start any drama. But then I started watching as I got to watch you on like Spawncast and other stuff, and the after show sometimes I was like, you know what? I get it. Like it's hard for me because I grew up with this stuff and trying to
Yeah.
understand like a more younger generation perspective that I'm just not used to.
Well, like that game came out
and
20
you
years
clearly like
before I was
Metroid. That was one thing
born,
that's like I got to
too.
remind myself, like, hey, she's not shitting on Metroid. It's just this one game she thinks in particular could have been better than what it really is and what people act like. It's not a big deal.
And
Well,
I
do you
like
think Metroid's a bad game for its time?
no, I think at its time it was probably great, but now I can't play it. Like I think it's bad. Like
I think that
For-
can be said for most NES games.
Free Metroid Hat is so happy that we're talking Metroid. You had to throw another $10 just to say Zero Mission's great play, and it's his second favorite 2D Metroid game.
I've heard.
Yeah,
I
Zero
thi-
Mission. I think you're gonna really like once you finally play it.
Yeah. Like a lot of the games that I talk about that I sort of criticize when I do my like retro review things, I like understand that they are great and I know that they were great for their time. And I'm sure that if I am like 50 now and I played that when I was a kid, I'd love it. But since I'm not, it's like, I don't know. Because like if you imagine, I went from playing Dread to the first Metroid.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
laughing. We had a troll in the chat shitting on Switch. It was
Yeah.
great. That was great.
Dread
That
is
was fun.
so good. Dread was my favorite game of 2021. It was
Yeah, it's so good. And the movement is really good. And I went from that to the first Metroid.
Yeah, that's
And, like,
pretty jarring.
That's
it was
why
a-
whenever I get into a
Yeah.
series I haven't played before, I always start from the beginning. People are like, "Oh, you can." Sometimes they're like, "You can pick up on the latest one. You don't
And
need
then
the
go
story."
back.
And it's like, no, I don't care about the story. It's because the gameplay is obviously going to get better with each entry.
Yeah.
If I plan on playing them all, I have to start with the first because I never.
Sometimes
want
it
to
gives
take
you a
that step
greater
back.
appreciation.
And you took like a 30-year step back.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I like didn't know if I was gonna be a Metroid person. I liked Ori, so I was like, "Oh, I'll try it
Oh,
because that's where
okay.
this genre
Absolutely.
comes from."
Mhm.
And then when I played Dread, I was like, "Oh, I think I really like Metroid."
Yeah.
And then I played the first one. I was like, "Maybe I don't like Metroid," but then I played the rest of them, and I was like, "Oh, this is great! Like I do
Yeah.
really like
The
Metroid."
first one's rough if you go back to it after playing a newer one. Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
like my perspective on it, and I felt like I made that pretty clear in that video. But some people still got pretty pissed.
Nah,
That's
it's
just the way it is.
Yeah.
There, you can put as many disclaimers as you want. You could literally explain, like, it doesn't matter. People are just going to jump to conclusions, and that's just who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Most of
Sam-
it doesn't bother me, but I think if they're like, a lot of it is like super sexist, and that's when I'm like, good lord, come on, guys.
Wait, what's wrong
Okay.
with being sexy?
What's the issue?
What's wrong with being sexy? There's no problem with being sexy.
Yeah.
But she said
Sexist.
sexist is what she said. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
was gonna say, I'm sexy and I know it.
You
All
just
right.
can't take them seriously at that point.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
If there's something wrong with being sexy, let's get Eric.
Oh
Moore the
yeah,
fuck outta
that's
here.
like even on my channel. That's one of the things. Like sexist remarks, we don't allow that stuff. So
Sorry, I've been working up the courage.
Yeah,
to say some all nighter.
we've had it pop up once in a while where some people are just being sexist, and it's like, no.
It's just how it rolls. It's okay.
No, that's not how it goes, dude. I have a daughter. I have a fiance. We have female guests on. There was a time in my life I thought I was female. It is what it is. Like, stop it. Stop it.
I have a lot of questions, but that's
okay.
awesome.
Yeah, you can have those questions. It's okay to question yourself at some point in your life. It's actually a lot more acceptable.
No,
than it used to
absolutely.
be. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's way younger in my life.
Yeah, I'm like
Sandra talks about games.
I'm gonna let it go right now.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
We can have an open conversation on it someday if we want to make it like a topic someday. But
Yes. Yes.
especially like we can
I'll be
relate it to
good.
gaming
I've
because
been-
there's some
Internet
interesting
needs more
gaming topics
positivity
around that.
like that. Honestly, like
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely. Sammy talks about games for $5. Said, I think Tears of the Kingdom should have improved more on places that it didn't, like dungeons, story, scaling, etc. And it didn't hit like Breath of the Wild, but it is better. It's kind of interesting. Like saying
Yeah,
that
I don't know if I feel the same way.
that Breath of the Wild is better in some of these ways, but then in the end, Tears of the Kingdom is still better.
I mean, I would say that they did improve on the dungeons and they did improve on the story. Like,
Yeah,
for
that's
me,
the weird thing. Yeah.
For me, like I feel like those are obvious things, but also, if you just hate the Tears of the Kingdom story, then I mean, there's subjectivity here.
I think we need to separate out. So the hate on the story, and this is something I've seen talked about. Some people just hate that it's memories again. I get it. Fine. You don't like story being told that way. But a lot of the hate I see on the story isn't even what the story is. It's that it reaffirmed that the Zelda team doesn't care about the timeline. And that's like the argument that I see people pissed about is that, oh, it retconned or it did this or did that when the Zelda, and then they did interviews afterwards now and said, oh, we don't really care that much about the timeline.
Any other game, any other Nintendo series, there would be some talk about timeline and retcons, but it wouldn't be that big of a sticking point.
Yeah, and this is just my opinion. Tears of the Kingdom to me tells the second best story in Zelda history. Skyward Sword tells the first. Yes.
I think we agree on something.
Good.
It's rare,
but here's the thing: you have to examine Tears of the Kingdom, and even throw Breath of the Wild in if you want as the prequel. Like, you got to examine that story as its own thing and stop judging it on this grander scale of the timeline. I love timeline theories. They're great, but it shouldn't affect your individual opinion of a story in one game. And if you let it affect that, then I think you're kind of missing the boat on what each Zelda game. Like, how can we keep saying every Zelda game can stand on its own? Also, this story fucking sucks because when you add in 18 other fucking games, it doesn't make sense. Okay, well, then you're not letting it stand on its own. You can't
that's
say
the
both.
thing about Mario Galaxy 2 and how it connects to Galaxy 1.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Not really.
The only way Galaxy
story.
2 makes sense if you just kind of look at the end of Galaxy 1 and how there's like a birth of a new galaxy. You just think of it as like it's just a restart to the timeline. That's the only way it makes sense.
I think the Nintendo series that kind of has the strongest timeline is Metroid.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
and
Metroid's got very strong continuation of story and everything.
I don't even think it's necessarily perfect. I don't remember the exact things, but yeah,
there's some issues here and there.
It's do the
timeline of
it's not something that's like where they didn't think about it when they
care more
and then try to tie it together later.
Yeah. There's a higher care for following a set story arc.
Dude, even Metroid Dread itself, they want that that was leaked as coming out like 20 years ago, right? Or 15, whatever.
And Dread is supposed to be the end of that story arc, which should mean something else starts after it, but we don't know what that is.
They
yet.
knew they wanted to do.
We don't know if Prime 4 is the end.
Imagine they start calling the game Samus instead of Metroid.
No, they wouldn't.
They shouldn't.
That's like if they didn't call the Switch 2 Switch 2. They got to use the branding.
Yeah, but most people think they won't.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Most people think they won't call it Switch 2. Josie, what do you think?
We're dropping a poll right now.
I don't think it's going to be called the Switch 2, but I think it's going to have the same branding. I can see like Super Switch or something weird, but I don't think they're going to do conventional numbering. It's Nintendo. They like to get weird and wacky.
That's your opinion. Thank you.
Yeah.
Finally, he did it to somebody that wasn't me.
You're welcome.
I love it.
It's
What's funny is I used to be on her side, then you converted me, Nate.
It happens.
I think
Maybe she converted you.
Well,
but I disagree.
Reverse conversion.
Reverse psychology.
Yep.
I mean, if you go by history, like that's obviously the right answer, right? Like history would suggest that there's no way Nintendo is gonna start numbering their systems, but this is also a new Nintendo. Like they've changed the way, a new president, a new way of, it's a singular system now. They've combined their gaming divisions, new marketing campaign. They handle themselves very differently now than they used to, and so I think there are some things that when we try to make predictions in terms of how they're going to act, looking at history could be a little misleading. I'm not saying you're wrong, Josie. I'm just simply stating that maybe they're going to do something a bit unexpected, which
I just look at Furukawa.
Josie, I think he's saying you're wrong. I think he's kind of trying to say you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't know what they're going to call it.
Furukawa is the only president to say we always get on the cliff and then we fall off.
I specifically remember Andre saying that he thought they were going to call it the Switch 2, and now that Josie's like, I don't think so. He's like, no, I'm not sure either.
So hold on, I don't remember when. Hold on, no.
Yeah, no,
I don't. Let me speak to that. So first off, I'm not even sure that's true. But
I'm not either. I was just saying shit.
Yeah, we've talked about Switch 2 so much though over the months, and like I don't know. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that as more evidence has continually presented itself, my mind has changed and shifted. Like I'm flexible on this, right? I don't think we're not going to know. And Nintendo still might not know. They may, right? I'm not sure how far into their planning there are, right? There may be a couple names that they're like, oh, should we call it this or that? They might be doing some testing and polls internally before they come to a conclusion. So I'm not sure, but Switch 2, at least people will know what it is.
It makes sense. I just feel like Nintendo does things out of left field all the time. And the thing that makes sense is like, we're all like, oh, of course. And then Nintendo's going to be like, what do you guys mean? That's never been even a thought process for us. And they do like everybody was like, oh, Nintendo's doing VR. And then they whip out Labo. Like they got to put their own spin on stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if they'll go the conventional. I'm totally down for them to do it. This is not a hill I'm going to die on because like if it is the Switch 2, it doesn't really affect me. It's the Switch 2 or the Super Switch or whatever it is. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
my opinion on it is just because of Furukawa's words about that cliff drop, because Nintendo, he basically said, I recognize that Nintendo has gotten very high and then dropped off a cliff going to the next generation. And it's happened time and time again. And all of that has been doing this whole unique naming stuff this whole time. So I kind of think that he sees that there's a value in the brand and a value in. Then this is why, why I feel so strong about Switch 2 next year is that Switch is selling strongly. You release the next system while the Switch is still relevant. Keep the brand going forward. And that 2 is, you look at every successful tech device with multiple versions, they use numbers. It's understandable. Like the audience knows. Look at Xbox. They're different every time, and now they might be releasing another next-gen system in 2026.
They're not a good example of good hardware sales.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Their names are all different. Like every time they keep the Xbox name, but what it's called after that's changed every time. And all it did was confuse the marketplace. And Nintendo kind of does that too.
Like you could,
confusing,
yeah. Like, and so that's the challenge, right? If you don't do a number, what name do you give it that clearly tells people that it's a sequel, that it's a follow-up?
That's my argument
Switch.
too.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
But
but if you have the Nintendo Entertainment System and then you have the Super Nintendo Entertainment System,
which sold worse than the Nintendo Entertainment System.
It was like the 80s.
Just hear me out. Just hear me out. I'm coming at you with an olive branch, okay?
Okay.
Nintendo, not just for the Switch, but for a lot of previous consoles, has released like new iterations, like the 3DS and the 3DS XL, the new 3DS. And the reason why the Wii U failed is because people thought it was just a reiteration of the Wii. And they've already done with the Switch Lite, Switch OLED. So if they do a Super Switch, they'll be like, oh, maybe that's the Switch Pro or something. You know what I mean? People,
Yeah.
and especially parents for like Nintendo games, even the Super Nintendo Switch, which to older gamers is so obvious, and not even older gamers, but like not obvious to kids. And granted, kids are going to be watching YouTube; they'll know, but it's just not quite. It's just, but Switch 2, everybody knows right away. They don't need any context. They don't need, you know what I mean? So that's my train of thought with it.
I agree with you.
that's
I
all I'm
think it
saying.
makes so much sense, but it makes too much sense because Nintendo's a maniac and they're not going to do what makes sense because they don't usually do that.
You
but
might
I
be
think-
right. That's a good argument.
I think that you are
I guess.
right on it, but I also think it's just Nintendo.
No,
like
no,
you can't predict their stuff.
Well,
Ever.
I mean,
No,
if
you're
there's
actually-
if
you're
there's some
actually right.
sort
You're
of
very right about that.
if there's some sort of crazy innovation that may steer what they name the system, and so we may not be privy to that. Although I feel like we would have heard about it already, and we haven't, so maybe not. I do want to ask you one thing, Josie, right? Because I've thought about Super Switch before, right? Like I do think it's like a good idea, but something I've also asked myself is what happens when they want to do a sequel to that 6 years from now, 7 years from now? What do they call it then? The Super Duper Switch?
That'd be awesome.
I don't.
Right.
I mean, I don't even think it necessarily has to be the Super Switch. I guess my argument here is that I don't know if they do numbers because it makes too much sense. So I don't know if it is the Super
It's too
Switch.
logical for Nintendo.
It is too logical. I mean, they never do like the smart. Like even with the
Metroid
DS,
Prime 4.
they could have called it the
number.
DS too, right? Because it was so successful, same branding, and they go 3DS because it does 3D, and it's just like,
Sold half as much as DS.
but it's just weird. It's like, why would you like? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not convinced that it would be the Super Switch, but also that same point, like, haven't we been talking about Switch Pro for like 4 years and it's never happened? So like, even if we don't even know if they're going to release another console, they might do the Super Switch OLED. You know,
I mean, you talked to Nate the Hate.
I do.
I'm just saying he's pretty confident, and he's got the explanation for what happened to Switch Pro.
But I'm kind of curious on the. It would be fun to ask Nate the Hate what he thinks the name is going to be, because I don't know if he's ever spoken on what he thinks the name's going to be.
I don't think he has. I don't know. I haven't heard it.
He might
Yeah,
not.
I
He
think
might
he
not be
really
privy to that. You know.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think
he
it
has
like,
not given a name. Yeah, no, he hasn't done that.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna be the new console, and the naming doesn't super matter as long as it's not super
Not to us, because
confusing.
we're gonna know. Yeah. Yeah,
But, like-
no, actually, there's a good point to be made there, because like we could talk about how the Wii was a bad idea, but also they were already screwed before the Wii was even like the Wii had lost all momentum well
Yeah,
before then,
sure.
right? And Switch has momentum now, right? So what? Maybe even if they were, they're not going to do this, right? But if they were to call it Switch U, I know it's going to still perform leagues better than Wii U did. Like that's not
Wait.
really a concern.
I just had a wild idea, an original
about
thought
that.
I've never heard someone say for this console. Because it kind of rhymes with Switch, but it makes them seem like they're a generation ahead of PlayStation and Xbox. The Nintendo 6.
Oh,
Just-
here we go. Just stop.
I'm just trying to be interesting, okay? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You can be interesting because Charles Trudell, for this bonus topic we're apparently doing, is saying, here's a tip. Also, here's a contest. Most ridiculous Switch 2 name. So our own names, ridiculous.
The Flip.
Ooh, here we go.
Switch 2. Boom. Mic drop.
Oh,
Just kidding. That was a joke.
Mic drop.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
Gosh,
I mean,
ridiculous.
remember the name I had at the Switch Nova, but that's actually cool. So I got to think of something ridiculous. I mean, it is also ridiculous, but
Look, they use the word
They should
Switch.
call it the Nintendo Bait, so they have the bait and Switch.
There it is. There it is.
Yes.
They got they named it the Switch, which is technically already a word that's used in the English language. You know, your light switch as an example. So maybe this is going to be called the Nintendo Counter.
I still like the
Double
Nintendo Bait
entendre
because I know
Because-
Andres would be a master baiter.
That's true.
I'll see myself out.
But see my Nintendo Counter
At least Josie likes
double
it.
meaning, because it's going to have a flat top that lets you, while you're playing, like, look at this. You got docked over here. I guess I can't show it because it's hooked up. But anyways, it'll have a flat top so I can set my drink on top of it while I'm doing my podcast. So it's a literal counter. And then it's also the counter to the PlayStation 5. No.
Well, I mean, it is ridiculous.
I like the masturbator better, to be honest,
I mean,
but it is what it is. And it's hard to follow that one up, guys. Okay. He took the best.
Just to completely fuck with
No,
people. they can pull up the
my
DS
favorite
switch.
part was like the 4 seconds of silence.
Wait.
Oh,
Did you say
yeah,
the DS switch?
The DS switch, just to fuck with people.
oh.
Nah. You know what? What about this? How about it's not a Switch 2 and they just call it the Nintendo Stick?
Ill.
Are you about to make another weird joke? Or?
No.
No,
I'm gonna leave it at that. We're not gonna say anything else.
It's just a USB drive. Ah, shit.
Oh god, they're going Chrome Stream Stick style. Oh boy, Amazon Fire Stick.
All right,
Here we go.
It's
The
gonna be called
streaming era
It's gonna be
begins.
called Nintendo Switch Prime. It'll
See-
be great for you, Nate.
It'd be huge for
Dude,
you.
I only got to make one change to my name, and I'll own the search rankings. I think I like this.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like I like Zach from Switch Force, but he tied his name to Switch, and I'm like, nah. See, I went with Nintendo for a reason. Like Nintendo's never gonna drop their own company name, so we're good.
You could just call it Switch First 2 if the Nintendo.
And by the
Switch
way,
comes out.
Nintendo does not have a problem with
Switch
me
what,
using
dude?
the
Switch
Nintendo
Force
name.
2?
I'm in contact with them about it. I just can't register it as a business.
You should, wait, what was the word in the middle? Switch
really.
what to?
Force.
Switch Force to?
Switch Force 2.
That YouTube channel would blow up.
Yeah, he blew
Switch
up.
Force.
He blew up with the Switch just because of his name. Like that brand. I mean, he does a lot of hard work over there too, and he was Ghost Robo. But still,
Yeah.
man. All right, we're gonna end this poll. By the way, 96 votes in it. It looks like most
You were
people
sitting
in the
on that
chat,
poll for a while.
most people think it won't be called Switch 2. So
You want to know what I voted? Because I voted in the poll.
Hmm.
What do you guys think I said?
it won't be. No,
I think
Yeah,
you
I
said yes.
No, I said no.
Oh, fuck you.
I can't vote in the poll. I legitimately can't. It doesn't let me as the creator.
I don't. There was just something. That compelled me to put no. Like I was like, you know what? They're gonna do something,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna
No,
be quite
it's
what we're
fine.
thinking.
You just want to
Maybe
agree with Josie and gang up. It's
J2
fine.
Blue Wonder has the
I don't even
best
care.
name. The Nintendo EB, the Electric Boogaloo.
There we go.
There it
Boogaloo.
is.
The new
See, every time I hear EB, I
Nintendo Switch
think of-
Deluxe.
Every time I hear EB, I think of
Oh,
EB
God.
Games.
That'd be lit if they did that. That'd be so
Oh.
funny. Introducing the new Nintendo Switch Deluxe console. I could see it.
I'd buy
Yeah.
it. I mean, I'm
That's
gonna
a
buy
bad
it no
thing.
matter what. No matter what it is, I'm probably gonna buy it. Look,
Yeah,
is
I
there
would
Nintendo
vomit and then buy
games
it.
there? All right, then I bought it. All right, you got me. There's Nintendo games. We're cool. Oh yeah. There's also this suggestion from Taker 610. The Ferrari La Ferrari equals Nintendo, the Nintendo. Yeah, that was a really horrible naming job by Ferrari. So now it just
Ooh. Oh, but what if they do call it Nintendo Switch Nintendo?
oh my god. No,
You guys
God,
are
we're
converting
getting it all
two people.
wrong. We're
Having,
getting
having
it all
hopes that
wrong.
said
It's
said
the
yes.
Nintendo
Now you changed your
Cyber
mind. Said
Switch.
no.
It's the Nintendo Cyber Switch.
What if they just call it
That's
the
not
sequel to
dirty
the
at all.
Nintendo Switch? The sequel to the Nintendo Switch.
I'm trying to like think
No.
of a way to make it
No,
dirty.
no, look, the Cybertruck's a thing. No one's taking that dirty. The
Cyber.
Nintendo-
I
Yeah.
hardly know her. I don't know.
Mm,
Here's the thing. Hold on. Do you know what Cyberine is, Josie?
Wait, what?
No.
Okay, see?
Name?
Okay. You don't know what it is either, Jake. Okay, Andres, do you know what Cyberine is?
It's a verb.
I think I know.
It was an old term used in the late 90s, early
Is this what you
2000s
did with all the women that liked you back in the day?
on the internet. Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
all right,
legitimate
continue.
thing. But that's
There,
what
there were
this is the
shows made
most
about
ageist
this.
thing of the whole show. I just dated myself. Half the chat's gonna know because the average age of my audience is like over 35, so they're gonna know. But there's also the part of my chat that's gonna be like, did he just make reference to the Cybertruck or like the internet?
What's
Or
the
a
cyber
robot?
All right, I'm dying to
It is-
know what this is.
No,
It's
just
having
the word.
internet sex talk with another person.
What the fuck? It actually. So when you're okay, I didn't.
So as
wow.
an example,
Yeah.
Jake, I walked down to the beach. Splash the water on me and slowly take off my shirt.
Can we please move on?
Wow, this
Oh,
is like
it's
the after
sexting.
show.
It's like it was just
It's
like
a sex
sexting when,
thing.
when there wasn't.
No.
texting.
See, Josie, what you're gonna find out is the after show is the show.
I like how you gave me an example instead of just saying that.
No, I have to give you an example of what it was like that. Except it was the worst part though. See, like we're not talking on the phone. This is all in text. You just type it out.
Yeah, it's just sexting when there was no text messages.
Patel Catone's like,
You
I'm
didn't have
out.
to tell me
Hey,
you're gonna
it
like,
happens.
take me. You bend me
I think
over.
my
a barrel
dad
and
is
tell me
watching
to
this.
take. You could have just
Is
said
your
that.
dad watching it? Your
Think
dad
so.
probably knows. He probably was.
No,
cyber
no,
back
no,
in the
no.
day.
Do not say that. Do not. No, no.
Oh boy. Look, at what age range is your father in? You know what
I'm not. We are not talking about this. Actually, I was,
Oh, now
Dude,
Josie
it was like his
knows how I
favorite
felt
is his
earlier.
favorite music like in the 80s or something? I'm just
I think we should
comment,
move
man.
on.
I would love. Let's take it back to Tears of the
He
Kingdom.
probably
Also,
knows
shout
what it
out,
is. I
hey,
guarantee he knows.
I
Hey,
second
Josie's
that.
Hey, Mr. Woe.
You know how
Pleasure,
normal this
pleasure.
used to be on the internet? This was like completely normal growing up.
Hmm.
And you know what's funny?
Andre's
People getting
face
offended
is
now.
so funny.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on, time out.
I
People
feel
get
this
offended.
Worse
way
than the after
People-
show. I can usually
I
I
feel
derail
feel
it
this
a little
way
bit.
every show.
Josie, have you even been on TikTok? I literally flicked through like 5 of them, and there's an ass cheek bouncing on my screen. And we're this is too far?
Hey,
Can
no
you
bragging.
please-
No bragging.
Yes.
Just move on.
No, we know this. This is social media. It's everywhere. Walk to
I don't
the
know what
goddamn
TikTok
beach.
you're on. I get like rabbits and dogs.
Okay, here, Josie,
I think it
log
it
out of
got to your
log
search
out of
history.
TikTok and then view it. You like because it tracks the
Watch
things you
the
watch and
GTA
caters it.
trailer.
When you
Look at the
first start
GTA
watching
trailer.
TikTok, it shows you all this crazy shit, and you're like, "What is going on?"
That's why I'm a YouTube Shorts person.
It's not any better. I'm just. It's
Okay,
just re-up.
I don't,
It's
you
just
get
re-upload
on
to
crazy
TikTok.
sides of the internet.
He does.
To be fair, I've been on. I used to be a B-tard back in the day. For those who know what that means, so
What the fuck, dude? Why are you pulling
I don't-
out all this?
I don't think any of us know
Nostalgia
what
lingo
that
that
means.
no one knows what it is.
None of us know what that means.
it's a 4chan message board. We'll leave it at that.
All right.
Wow.
Mental note to Google that.
The
later.
funny thing is, if I say something like God, what's another old school one? Oh, like Rickrolled. Everyone knows what Rickrolled was.
Yes,
That's from my generation when all this stuff was happening.
that's is it?
For the
All right.
record, Josie, on my podcast, we just talk about Nintendo. We don't.
What
we
are
don't-
yours?
Josie,
Yeah.
what does cap mean to you?
You should get. You said
Lie.
when you have your podcast on.
Okay, cap to me is when you bust a
I've
cap.
been
out
a bad
of
job
you're
of getting
shooting a
guests
gun.
on
I know
for a
what that
long time.
means.
I've
See,
been on
I-
a guest hiatus.
You should
Mutinate.
have it.
Why
have
am
it
I
on.
being muted? I'm making pop culture references to my childhood. That's what
You
this
guys
was.
would
This
be
was
normal.
pop culture.
It would be
It
great.
was normal. Eric and I, it literally was normal. This was normal shit growing up. Just like the dude in Sweet from Dudes Where's My Car. This was a completely normal thing growing up to me. Cybering, totally like normal thing. Everybody knew what it was. Not everybody did it, but they were aware of it. Like it's not. The funny thing is, people talk. Like, look at this help, all this stuff. Things are worse today. Things are worse today, and I'm being told, "Oh, when you're texting a random person, giving them your ASL, you're, you're just a creepazoid." Now you can just go on TikTok, go to the just chatting, watch some woman whip her tits out, and that's just normal. That literally happened today on Twitch.
Twitch is another beast. You can't.
Well,
Twitch
that's
is like.
well, Twitch is more popular. There's more people using it than even the people that used the internet back when I was a kid.
All right, sit your
Oh, man.
T9 ass down.
No, I'm just saying that like it was normal, man. This is normal. If RGT was here, he'd just be going in with it because he knows. Of course, RGT, he's a different animal because he's actually done things that
Well,
make
but on
me
his
want to
after
cry.
show, I can derail him a little bit.
Yeah, you won't be able to derail me.
Yeah, no.
No, it's not possible. Because how do you derail him? I'm just curious.
Just bring up random wrestlers. I mean, like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that checks. That checks.
or like I say something controversial. and he's
Yeah, that
usually
checks.
Like,
Nothing you have said so far to me is that controversial. So
well,
this was the most controversial one now.
Yeah.
Writing the
Yeah.
cue cards and putting them up. All right.
This
Well, I
is
guess
like,
we'll
dude, this is like that Christmas movie. What's it called? Love Actually? Is that it?
love action.
Or he's like, it's the dude from The Walking Dead, and he's like holding the cards, and he like
You know-
does one at a
You know,
time.
the funny thing is, half the stuff I was saying, if you read the chat, people were just like, "Oh yeah, I remember what that is. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
oh, yeah," 'cause, like we grew up with it. It was part of our
Yeah.
childhood. I'm just aging
Well,
myself.
If you know
is
what
all
it
I'm
is,
doing.
Chad, I'm sorry. I just like to make fun of Nate. I'm not trying to make fun of you.
That's okay. Everyone makes fun of me. See, this is why we'll never be a 1,000,000 subscriber channel. By the way, this is literally the reason. All right. Yeah. No, you know what? Maybe there's enough people in that crowd. Maybe I
Dude, how long were
I
you
don't want
taking to
too
write
many.
all these cards?
Dude, he's spending some real time on it. Let's go to the Q&A section. Andres is secretly the most entertaining. Please, I just want to talk.
I agree. I'd
Josie,
also like to do
I will
that.
say, if you will probably like Andres Restarts podcast a lot more. And I'm just saying this because literally it's zero off topic. It's nothing but Nintendo talk from start to finish.
Well, we
Vibes.
tangent like crazy, but it's always tangenting in different Nintendo directions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it
Sorry
just
if you
you,
had an impression
Andres?
of a Nintendo podcast not talking Nintendo. My bad.
Lately it's just been me doing Q&As, but I
Oh,
have
Brandon.
like,
Brandon,
last
yeah.
week I did a debate with Botox Games and
Cool.
Backlog Banter.
Didn't you do a
Yeah.
Rob
you
was
did a
supposed to
debate,
be
and it
there
was
from Rule to
2
Review.
against 1. It was 2 against you, right?
Rob was supposed to be with me, but he got
Yeah.
stuck at work,
Ah,
and that was hot. It was a good show, but I feel like if Rob was with
Taker
me,
610
we
wanted the
would've won
reference
the
to
debate.
the
Like-
Corvette ZR1 in 2024.
Hmm.
We're in the Q&A section. By the way, guys, you guys just do $2 super chats if you want to get some question is. Jorge FT, bringing it back to Nintendo, says, if Ocarina of Time were to be remade, would you like a reimagined version like Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Well, would I like it? Yes. Do I expect it? No. But I definitely would like it.
that'd be
A
pretty
lot.
sick.
What would you want
Yeah.
them to do different? Like, because it's significantly different.
All right, so I'll start writing the list here. So we
No, I'm
can-
serious. I'm going to shut up. I actually I'm curious on your opinion on this, Andres.
Oh, me specifically?
Yeah.
So like this is full like wish mode, right? This is not me being realistic because I think realistic is visually, yes, reduce load times, yes. Quality of life updates, controllable camera, that's probably what we'll get. But in terms of like wish mode, a la Final Fantasy VII Remake, when we go into the future, we're just given the light medallion. No, I want that to actually be like, oh, you have to prove that you know your new future body now. So you're gonna have a trial. The trial is a light temple dungeon. And at the end of that, so they basically throw in a new dungeon when you become an adult. When you beat that trial, you can actually explore the world afterwards. So that's one thing. Put something in the northeastern part of the map of Hyrule because it's completely empty. Expand the ice cavern. Also, if you go back to the 95 Space World, it actually was 97. There's an Ocarina of Time build that shows a whole bunch of mechanics that weren't in there before. I talked about this, I think, last week, but like, so for example, every time you get one of the medallions for the temples, that becomes like an energy you can use. So like, for example, Din's Fire, that's fire you can send out in a shockwave. Each of the medallions become a shockwave, or you could also imbue them into your bow. So like that's literally like more like better combat mechanics that they cut out of the game. So those are just like some surface level things. Obviously, 60 frames per second, 4K, because it's gonna be on Switch 2 with the DLSS magic.
Yeah, and I put to add to that, I think a lot of those ideas were originally supposed to, because remember Ocarina of Time at one point was supposed to be on the disc system, the 64DD that they canceled.
There were ideas there for sure.
Yeah.
Also, because it supposedly Ocarina of Time causes a 3-way timeline split, put something in
I
there.
love 3 ways. Timeline
that-
splits.
Yeah,
Both, I love both those things
Sure. Yeah, but
for different reasons.
yep.
Sorry, keeping it
Yeah.
clean.
No, it's fine.
Dude, we're so
but-
past keeping it clean. I don't know what you're worried about. I've already ensured Josie never comes back. I took care of that. So
Cool.
Josie, what do you think? Do you want it reimagined? And what would you do if so?
I think it'd be great, yeah, if it was reimagined like how Final Fantasy is. I don't know exactly what I would do because I don't think I know the game well enough. I kind of stopped at the water dungeon when I was trying to get through it. I have a goal to play through it this year. It's really not very fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like them to just like modernize the controls a bit And I really think my issue with it is the controls. So as long as the controls are better, I think it'd be great. And whatever spice they want to add to it, I'd love it. I just think it needs to be modernized a little bit. I'd like a cool stylistic art style though, like not a generic thing. I'd like it to look very, I don't know, creative, cool.
Yeah, I think there's something to that idea about the art style because, like, obviously, when they made it for N64, so they can only do what it was, right? But they had kind of like you look at the concept art, like the art for Ocarina of Time is really cool looking.
Yeah, it is
Like
really cool.
imagine if they were to make a game like that. Like that's not realistic, right? But it's also not cell shaded either. It's something else, and so that would be really nice to see.
Cool. What do you think, Jake?
I was paying attention.
Totally. Busted.
Just read the super chat.
Just read the super chat. It'll help you out.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
He's worried about what's happening in his after show.
Okay. I don't want it to be because the thing about FF7 Remake is I've talked about this many times. It is not a remake. It is a sequel. It is not like it's not like an interpretation or your opinion thing. It is literally Final Fantasy VII ends. Something happens, which I don't want to say because it'll spoil, and then there is a second game that comes out.
Isn't it crazy? They're basically making two mainline Final Fantasy series like side by side right now because you have the 7 remake series, and then you still have like Final Fantasy 16. Like, we wish Nintendo would do that for Zelda.
Man,
yeah. So maybe the better game to use up is Resident Evil 4 remake because that has new content in there,
but it's also very true. It's still true to the original though in a lot of ways,
but with a lot of new stuff.
Yes, a lot of new stuff. Yeah. See, I think the idea of like when you think Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake is not Final Fantasy VII. You don't really realize it. That's the crazy part when you play it because I just finished. I should have talked about that. Why didn't I talk about that last week? I just finished it 2 weeks ago. My first time ever playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. By the way, I never played Final Fantasy VII, but I got to the end and I'm like, is this what Final Fantasy VII is like? I go and I watch a story recap of all the stuff in Final Fantasy VII, and I was like, oh, wait a second. And in Final Fantasy VII Remake, it didn't really confirm its divergence until like 3/4 the way through, and then it's stupidly obvious that this is not Final Fantasy VII.
It kind of reminds me. I haven't beaten 7 Remake or the original Final Fantasy. I've played both, but I haven't beaten either. But like the situation kind of reminds me of a Fate Stay Night. You guys familiar with that anime series?
Yeah. I'm aware of it. I've seen a couple episodes.
For those that don't know, Fate Stay Night has like several different versions, and each version's like its own like parallel universe where things kind of shake out a little bit differently. And so like it may start off very similar, but as you watch it, it becomes an entirely different show. Yep.
That's what happens to Final Fantasy Remake. Exactly. And if you played the original, you might have noticed it even sooner than I did. But yeah, it's kind of crazy what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Eric, you got any thoughts on this?
Didn't play it. So.
Yeah, I was say you didn't play the original.
I didn't play either one of them.
I know. Hey, you say that. You know something about Wind Waker, and you barely played that.
I mean, yeah.
You sailed the ocean.
I did sail the ocean.
You pointed a control stick and let it go.
Yeah, and then found a rubber band to tie it around the controller.
You sure did. You sure did. Not knowing that if you just played a certain song, the wind would just take you that way.
Hey, you didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you that. You're right. I walked away to be a babysitter with my sister. It is what it is. All right. Next one we have up is Taker 600. Who remembers the Ultra 64 arcade cabinets? Wow. Do any of you even know what this is?
Was Killer Instinct? Was Killer Instinct one of those?
I don't know if Killer Instinct was on Ultra 64. Let me look. You might be on. That's not the game I remember from it.
Okay,
but that doesn't mean there
definitely an arcade version of Killer Instinct.
Yeah. So Cruising USA was the one I remember. But let me see if there was a Killer Instinct. There was a Killer Instinct arcade. I don't know if it was the Ultra 64. Cruising USA, I know it was. That was the one that I saw.
Is Ultra 64 like N64? Like, was that like something to convert N64 games to arcade games? Like, is that what that was?
Yeah, I'm not seeing.
Okay.
What
I'm-
is
I'm
Okay,
not
Ultra
seeing-
64?
I might just not know what this is then.
No, it's okay. The
Well,
thing with the
that was
arcade
a
era,
code name though. For
most
Is
of us
Redbeard
back-
okay? He said that. Like,
most of us
55
back then didn't really care. When you go to the arcade, we're not thinking of what's the internal code name of what the hardware is and what's but for some reason I remember Cruisin' USA being specifically on the arcade 64. But I think Killer Instinct was its own thing.
Well, there was Killer Instinct before the N64. I think there's a couple.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on.
This conversation.
I found a forum thread on it from like the 90s.
Isn't it crazy seeing old websites from then?
Oh, it doesn't say what games were on it. Okay, so I guess I don't know. I just talked about the hardware. Okay.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of like Reddit threads like talking about it, but also not talking about what games.
So I guess the answer to Taker's question is none of us remember.
Yeah, I to be fair, I remember Cruisin' USA being on one, but that's the only one. So if there was other games, I'm not sure of. I'm not sure of it. And it was only because this arcade I went to, the guy who was always there at the ticket booth, because they always had the ticket games, he was super nerdy. And he'd be like, dude, you love playing on the arcade 64? I'm like, what are you talking about? Cruisin' USA, man, it's on the arcade 64. I'm like, what the fuck is the arcade 64?
There was also Cruisin' World.
Cruisin' World was one too. Yeah. Anyways, that's literally the only reason I even heard of it as a kid, and even then, I still didn't really know what the hell he was talking about. All right, let's see here. Diddle says, I'm betting $5 on the name Switch Up.
I like it.
That's another YouTube channel.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it is the
Switch Up.
YouTube channel. Who's taking that bet? I bet you Switch Up would just agree with you, and he'll double down. I'll have to get him on a show sometime. Let's see here. We got Benjamin Holiday saying Switch equals Spank Stick. So Nintendo Spank. Love it. At least he didn't say Spank Bank.
Right. Yeah.
That's the rebrand of Pokemon Bank on there. It's the Nintendo Spank Bank.
Spank-a-bank.
Will Lickitung be sure that he's the mascot?
Well, I mean, there was Smash or Pass with Pokemon, so
Oh, there was Smasher. Yeah,
that was a fact.
There was Smasher Pass. They did lean into that. That is true. You never know what Nintendo's going to do. But not to 712 says, forget Switch 2. The Nintendo Switch will return in a brand new console. Oh, like an official statement. The Nintendo Switch will return in a brand new console. Oh boy.
Oh Lord.
That does sound like a totally corporate thing Nintendo would say.
That's like very MCU.
Yeah.
Ooh, Nintendo Switch Ultra.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I thought.
No,
Ultra
see, that
things.
just sounds like it could be the Nintendo Switch Pro. It literally Ultra and Pro are like so similar. That's why nothing else makes sense, man.
So like low key. Okay, sorry. I was reading something. Benjamin, do you think that the timeline not being important could mean it's more of a multiverse sort of thing?
Stake is high 84.
Well,
You're right.
I mean, Zelda literally is a multiverse. There's 3 confirmed timelines, so that's literally 3 parallel universes. If you want to start getting into physics or theoretical physics or whatever.
Yeah, let's start getting into it.
Start getting into it. Yeah, it could be a really big topic.
Yeah,
Feels like something that needs a deeper exploration.
So I personally think the timeline does matter. I mean, if you go to Nintendo's interviews, they say they do care, they do factor it into their equation, but it's not the most important factor. Like, so there are going to be moments where there's going to be some retcons, there's going to be some things where you have to be really creative about how things come together. But that's kind of how Zelda always has been. And so my take on a lot of like the negativity about this is that, well, I mean, there's weird things about Breath of the Wild, there's weird things about Twilight Princess, there's weird things like it's always kind of been that way. So I think if you want to care about the timeline, you can, but if you don't want to care about it, you also can. It's the best of both worlds, really. Some people argue that no, they should make a concerted, committed effort. They should hire like professional writers to make this as consistent and continuous as possible. Nintendo's not going to do that, but they never have.
I don't think you need to make it like continuous and consistent.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
then, isn't that the way it is now? Then,
Yeah,
Like,
that's
do you
fine.
think- yeah, I think we're on the same page,
Yeah.
except for Eric. Eric strongly disagrees.
Yeah,
I
hate
wish
all
Eric
your
would
ideas.
just talk about
hate
it.
all of your ideas. You
I
guys suck.
strongly disagree, but I don't want to start the argument. So
Yeah, well, that's because you know that 3 against 1, you
Well,
have no chance.
Oh no, I think Nate's stance is
Or
that the
4 against
timeline
1.
doesn't
no,
matter at all.
I just glanced at Josie and I could tell she's like, I'm done with this bullshit.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hey, her dad is watching, sir, and loving it.
Won't. Might be. Mac Mega says, I wish Ocarina of Time would be remade in a Miyamoto original version, i.e., with the unicorn Triforce fountain and being able to use Navi to explore dungeons. Man, I haven't heard that in a while.
That's
Yeah,
an
there's-
opinion.
There is something with the there's a lot of theories about that unicorn Triforce fountain thing.
Mhm.
Like in the Zora's domain, like there's like this hole that people want to get into, and people are like think, oh, there's like a secret like area in there. There's nothing, but there were the theories.
I just realized if her dad's watching, he will ban her from ever coming back.
It's kind of
We're no
funny.
longer
She definitely
allowed at
hates it
family
every time we
events. If
bring
you
that
go
up.
on that show one more time, lady.
Lord.
I'm not a kid, so he doesn't really have control like that. But yeah.
Look, I'm going to tell you, just honest right now. My parents have not supported anything I have done since the moment I turned 18.
Oh, dude, you don't gotta try to.
No. My parents
Yeah.
are they're wonderful people. They are wonderful people, but they have not supported anything.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I'm now a full timer and able to pay my bills, and now they think it's cool. I don't know,
That's
something a little weird about that.
My parents have been very supportive about you too.
That's awesome. I'm going to be very supportive of my kids too, no matter what they want to do with their life, as long as it's legal. Keep it legal. See, Jake's all about trying to keep it clean. I just keep it legal. We're good.
I want to be a pirate like Luffy from One Piece. How
Dude,
about
There you go.
I feel like
that's
wait, what do
definitely
you
not
mean?
legal.
He wants a wanted poster somewhere. That's all it is.
I want to be infamous.
America's Most Wanted.
Travel the
you are
world.
infamous, dude. You're the filthiest one of the podcast. No, Eric's the filthiest one. He just like keeps it all. He's like, I can't even talk.
To be
This
fair,
I
to be
take
fair,
showers.
Jake, do you remember last week what got you to stop being clean? Was Andres. Andres
Yeah.
was the one that literally started going dirty, and we all sat back like, "What is happening right now?" The podcast was Josie should have been on last week.
Dude,
For
honestly-
2 straight hours, it was super clean, no bad things, just all Nintendo talk. And then Andres is like, "This doesn't feel right."
Yeah,
He
and then
just
you got
started throwing some stuff in.
that made me
ran through the
so
room and
happy.
it was just-
That made me so happy because it means that you like me and you miss me not keeping it clean.
It probably just didn't feel right. That was all. And Andres has been on the
And he's
podcast
not
a long
denying
time.
it.
So
he's
been
doing Nintendo right now. He's not denying it.
Well, Andres has been on my podcast a long time. He knows that we've actually had many clean episodes, many of them over the years. But
And also, we've had plenty of episodes where we've been screaming at each other the entire time.
yes,
so.
and the funny thing is, those episodes sometimes have the highest viewership. The audience would just be split, and they'd start yelling at each other. And I'm like, "Well, this is getting a little
People
intense
like
when
It's
they're
drama.
arguing."
like
Yeah.
Well,
like
it was
Skip
never
and
drama
Shannon.
for
Well,
us.
no, the thing is, we never actually like are mad at each other. We just have
It comes
opinions
off
and
because
we
we're
debate them.
passionate about it. Yeah,
We just debate them, right? Like he thinks
Yeah.
Metro Prime Remastered looks like shit, and I think it's the
I
best
did
video
not
game ever.
say it looks like shit.
Right?
Oh,
Well,
here we go.
that's me trying to stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Mac Maker comes in and says, "Will there be a jump button?" Oh,
Please.
in the Ocarina of Time remake. Ooh,
Yeah, you gotta for sure. Because
That is one of my biggest issues with the first one, or
the automatic
The one
jump.
3Ds, yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
just jump on your own. Yeah.
If you're redoing everything else, then like the actual like the world you're in is going to be so different. You're definitely going to need a jump
Yeah.
button.
Yeah. I don't know
not
how
sure
you
how
can
I
do it
feel
without
about
one. Today, like if you do even if it's just a remaster, I don't know how you do it without a jump button anymore.
Exactly.
I know they got away with it on 3DS, but
Well,
that was 3DS.
They would have to. I don't. I mean, it would be fun to have a jump button. I like more options. in terms
You know
of
what
how
I
can
think
move
is
and
funny?
interact with the
If
world.
they don't make any hard
Options
changes,
are optional.
no, if they don't make
Yeah.
a lot of changes to the game, but they add a jump button, I think you're going to find a lot of people wishing it didn't exist and they'd rather have the automatic jump.
Right. Like the thing is, you would have to change a lot about the game for it to really make a lot of sense.
Yeah. If you
'Cause-
just leave it in there, people are going to keep messing up so bad.
We're talking about like if you want to make the jump button actually a bit useful, we're talking about like
You have to
changing
redesign
around
the-
the structure of the dungeons
Yeah,
and
the dungeons, big
the
time.
maps. Like, yeah, I mean the maps, like it's not. I mean, you can make some minor adjustments to ledges, right? Like, so where you actually have to jump onto them, I guess. It wouldn't be. You would still have to redesign it, but you could still kind of redesign it in a way where it's still similar.
Mhm.
Sure.
Dungeons would be. It would get complicated.
I was saying yes under the impression that they are making like
Yeah.
redoing everything
mhm.
from the ground up.
Yeah.
You know, like if
Sure.
they're just doing a remaster and they're gonna throw a jump button in there, I agree. I don't think it'd do too much. But
Yeah.
if we're
Because-
talking,
Yeah.
The automatic jump is already sort of set to like be the perfect distance for the
Mhm.
design. Wait, was it Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask? One of them you could do the backflip jump.
You can
I
make a
remember.
backflip.
You
at
do it in
all.
both.
You can
In
do it
both,
in
yeah.
both.
Yeah. So technically there is a manual jump. It's just backwards.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if what they want to do is that it's no longer auto jump and they just make the auto jump a button press. And so what happened is they just added a new animation where Link does like a forward vault, which
Mm.
would be kind of fun. You know, maybe they can make it like a fun animation. And so it actually makes it harder, sort of, but it might be more intuitive for people because that's how most games work.
But to be clear, we all would rather it just be remade, and so then a jump button just makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would love a jump, hypothetically.
Eric's being
yes.
complimented on his shirt because he's keeping it classic. Instead of
Yeah, it's a
clean,
sick shirt.
classic.
That's what the C means.
There it is. There it is. All right. Well, that was the last super chat. So thank you guys so much
perfect.
for that. All right. So we're gonna wrap the show up right there. We'll be back next week with episode 52. I don't have anyone scheduled besides our core 4 next week, but we'll see. We have some special guests coming on next month. One of them is Miss Click Gaming coming on in January, and then Jake had someone coming on. I forgot her name at the moment.
Ray Anarchy.
Yeah.
No, wait, no. Saffron City.
Oh man, this is bad that we don't have this because this is another guest coming on next month. Either way, and there'll be more guests, and we'll try to get Josie Woe back on again sometime.
I'll come back on.
Okay.
Are you gonna go around?
Well,
It's
now that
Saffron-
she's-
Saffron
see,
City
she's-
TV. That's who
She's
it
been
is.
through the
Saffron
gauntlet, so
City
now she's more ready for the expectation of what the show is.
Of course.
And then next thing you know, she's on a Kit and Krista show, and it's like, why? Wait, everyone's just being like super professional and calm. And what is this? Who is Nintendo Prime right now? Anyways, we're gonna go around the room quick. We can tell people who we are, where they could find you if our mods want to help out, and drop some of the links. They're all down in the description as well. Let's start with our first time guest, and I guess not last time. She just confirmed she'll come back some point.
Mhm.
Might be a year, but she'll come back.
Wow.
You're a brave.
No,
soul.
I only no. To be fair, I only said that because when we did talk behind the scenes, Wednesday night availability is not always like a thing. So,
Mm.
but
Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. If you liked me here, I have a YouTube channel called Josie Woe. You can check it out if you'd like. I talk about the Nintendo Switch. I keep it clean over there for the most part. So
Keep
there's
it
that.
But
But yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
except when
Appreciate it.
RGT wins an award, he will not.
also,
keep it
I just
clean.
want to say this real quick. When Josie first got here, and like people were like, Josie, whoa. It was you ever seen Dude Where's My Car? Where he's like, what's my tattoo say? And he's like, dude. He's like, what does
Dude.
mine say? Sweet.
Sweet,
People
yeah.
were like, I thought people were like, Josie, whoa. Like they were like really impressed that she was here. And then I was like, oh wait,
I'm sure that's the first time she's ever gotten that ever.
But dude, I actually thought that for a second. I was like, wow, they are hyped. Like,
They were so hyped. The chat is excited.
they're like, they're
Jake,
like,
what do you got
"Whoa."
going on? Where can they find you?
You can find me Twitter, Jake Randall, YouTube, Jake Randall, OnlyFans, 2-inch destroyer.
There
That's
it is. There it is. I was waiting. We hadn't had the 2-inch reference all night. Eric, you are whatever you say you are.
I am
Where can they find you?
here.
Every Wednesday.
On the
Well,
podcast.
most Wednesdays.
Most
Most
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. He is the most frequent guest besides myself. I can say that because I have missed an episode now.
Yeah.
Who was cleverly hosted voluntarily by Andres Restart, which, by the way, that episode was super clean as well. He just runs a nice professional show. That's just what he does. I let it go wild. It's the wild, wild west.
It has many squirrel.
Andres, what do you got
moments.
going on? Where can they find you?
Yep, that's me. I'm Andres Restart. I talk about Nintendo, and I'm a little bit more excited than I sound now usually. So
Yeah, he's hit that point. And we have one last super chat on the night coming in. Taker610 just wanted to mention the Switch. Whoa!
that's it.
There it is.
That's
There
the
it is.
one.
That's the
Your
winner.
channel will explode.
Winner.
You'll hit 1 million subscribers like halfway through next year.
Switch. Whoa.
You had to be like, my
Yeah.
favorite Switch Whoa launch game, probably Josie. Whoa. Oh, geez, it's over.
Dude,
Honestly, I actually think that'd be a good
happens-
name.
If that
That would be a good
happens,
name.
I'm convinced that I'm in like the Truman Show because there's no fucking way. That would blow my mind.
Love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you same time next week. Maybe a different crew, maybe not. I have no
Chat,
idea.
I love you. I just want to say that. Bye. That's it.
A particular person in the
I
chat
never
you might
shout
love
out
a
the
little
chat
more.
today. I normally like to do that.
Well, there's a particular person in the chat today who might love a little more. It is what it is. Later, guys.